What diner, drive-in, or dive will we try next? The food is hot and ready to go for day 3 of the Fixed Ops Roundtable Route 66 road trip event. So pull up a seat and dig in. Here to take your order is our host, Katrina Ness.
Good morning, I'm Katrina Ness from Northwood University. Join the roundtable on the Mother Road for day 3 of our 4-day event. We're hitting all the stops from Chicago to Santa Monica as we cruise across the country. So shift into drive and hit the gas with the Fixed Ops Roundtable's Route 66 road trip event. No need for a map to interact with the chat. Simply navigate to the right side of your screen. Just be sure to select everyone and not just hosts and panelists. Clear skies for our trip down Route 66. Joining us in the passenger seat is our first speaker, Skylar Chadwick from Cox Automotive.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Great friends with us now. Skylar Chadwick from Cox Automotive, Ed Roberts from Bozard Ford Lincoln, Tully Williams, It's All About the Hours, and the Nilo Company. Looking back in the last month or so, Ed, you had the pop-up event at your dealership. Amazing people at the Bozard group. And we had invited Skylar, who was unable to come. And we thought we'd get together now and bring Tully in and talk a little bit about what's ahead for 2025, Ed, in the industry.
Perfect. So I think Skylar it wasn't that he couldn't come, as he couldn't come yet. So he's postponed it for the next one, Ted. So there's a little teaser for the audience that there's another one coming.
Yep. And
so
that was quite an event.
Yeah, the next one's going to be over at Tully's place, and I believe it'll be truly all about the hours. But yeah, there's some pictures from ours, and obviously you can see the mobile van in the background, and that's really become a key element to what we do here with being very customer centric and meeting customers on their terms and looking at it through their lens and removing the friction as much as possible.
Yep, you've done a great job with that. And we were speaking in the green room. Skylar, you mentioned that's one of the great differentiators that Ed and Bozard have created.
Yeah, I think about the customer's journey, right? Retention, customer retention. I think that's everything. Right? I think Tully says it perfectly. We're in the business of repeat and referral business, and I think Bozard Ford does an amazing job with that. I think that, hey, if I can service a customer's vehicle at their home, make it convenient for them, and it's convenient for the dealership too as well. I think Greg's operation that he operates there at Bozard is amazing. And I think, too, it frees up time for customers to be able to bring their vehicles, to the shop. I can't stress it enough, is they're truly focused on the consumer experience and making sure that we reconnect those customers and make sure that we bring them back to the dealerships, but also making sure we take care of their needs. Not every customer can make it to the dealership or spend 30, 45 minutes at the dealership. And it's really convenient for dealerships. And we'll probably see that continue on. Through their brand and throughout the country, you'll see mobile service probably pick up here in the next year or so.
Ed, I thought it was amazing that you made the comment that it's not unusual that a month will go by and you'll have a perfect CSI with all the mobile ROs that you do.
And I want the audience to listen to that a bit, because we service nearly 2,000 customers a month in mobile service, which is more than most dealer service coming through their drive. And to get a perfect CSI score fairly consistently, that's huge. And what that's telling us is that's what our customers want. And when we shift them down a path of where we want them to go, and then have to ask, hopefully you can recommend us to someone else, then have we really put forth the efforts to take care of them so that they want to recommend us to somebody else? Or are we trying to leverage that connection that we have? Well, I want to leverage that connection for the loyalty more so than the recommend. I want to deliver the best service possible. And that's what mobile and some of those elements do for us.
Tully, that's a lot of hours, a lot of mobile hours that Bozard's generating.
You got that right. You know, when you look at the mobile service, you know, on our brands, we have luxury brands. One of our OEMs is trying to dabble into that, Volvo, which we're very excited about. Taking the lead from Ed, you know, we're really excited about seeing how they want to, what they allow us to do, and, you know, how they can help us present that to our customer base. So we're very excited about that next step on mobile. You know, of course, we offer the pickup and delivery as we've had in the past, but you know, Ed's done an incredible job with mobile, and we see that, you know, sometimes, you know, it's really what the manufacturer allows us to do remotely. And we're very excited about Volvo making that happen for us.
And Tully, you're doing a lot of great work with video inspections. We were chatting a little bit about that. Bring us up to speed on what's happening there, because you and Skylar and the Nilo team and Cox Automotive are going to take that to a whole new level here this year.
Yeah, we're very excited. We've been very pro video for a while. And, you know, when we look at our videos, you know, we have video contests for our technicians, but really convincing everybody at the Nilo company that videos is a good thing. And it started, our journey started, 5-6 years ago when I came here, and the videos were there. But now, you know, we're down to the last 2 years, we're 100% videos on every car that is serviced at the Nilo company. And then two is that, how do we make those videos better? And we refined that process. And last year was probably our best year ever, having those quality videos and pictures of all of the red items that need immediate attention today. The best part of it is that when everybody believes that the video works, guess what happens? We sell more things that we would sell our family members. Again, we're going to sell recommendations we'd sell our family members, and we're selling about 60% of everything we ask for. We are getting a yes answer. And that, you know, to me, that is an incredible number that we've worked hard for. But here's the deal. Remember, it starts with recommendations we'd sell our family members. And when we convince technicians that they don't need to recommend everything from the moon, we just want to recommend things that they would recommend for their family. Next thing you know, we have quality recommendations with video and pictures to back that up. And then after that, we told the technician the best car to work on, the car on the rack. And two, we're telling them what the percent of hours come from those great recommendations we'd sell our family members of a piece of their puzzle. And next thing you know, we see that we sell 30, 40, even 50% for some of our technicians. Hours are from those great recommendations. So we're very excited that Skylar and Cox and Next Time have come out with a better quality video for us to have more input for our technicians, where they can add little arrows, better quality sound deadening. You know, the sound part has always been a critical in a shop. It's always bouncing around. They've really done a great job for us to make sure that those videos are even better yet. So we are super excited for that starting actually, I think this week or next week. Skylar, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Hey, no customer wants to hear an impact going in the background, right? So it's all about customer experience. And I think the biggest thing too is with these tools, you know, dealerships sometimes figure out, like totally figured it out at the Nilo company, right? They've driven processes, but there's some dealerships that just like, how do I do this? How do I get started in video? How do I get my technicians to actually do it? And so we, as a product owner, we have refined that process. We are creating steps that are really going to help those technicians make sure that they go, I need to add a video. I need to add a picture. So they do sell 60% of what they're asking for. And it's really going to really refine the way that we do things, making sure that the customer can hear everything that the technician says, right? I can go to the doctor without them standing in front of me and I can hear exactly what they're saying, right? We don't want to hear the background noise in the shop. We know it gets loud. We know that wrenches are dropping, people are talking, vehicles are running. It's really about making sure that we really truly focus on your customers so that they have a great experience and they want to continue servicing their vehicles at their dealership. So we've had to make a change to our product and solutions here, but what we want to do is we want to make sure that it's a solution that's got process driven. Everybody, right, totally, and they can't be everywhere in the dealership. They can't be everywhere in the shop. And so it's so important that they can see those stats and those numbers and reports. And not only just to the tools we're making a difference in the reporting so that actually Tolly and Ed and those type of dealerships that use videos, so that they can actually make the right educated guess as to what's going on in their shop as well.
I want to piggyback off of that. One thing that we see the issue is that we send these great videos and these great quotes, but guess what? Customers don't look at them or don't open them up. You know, we do have those key tosser customers. God bless every one of those. But honestly, we want the key tossers to also look at that great picture and video to make sure they understand what they're paying for and make sure they understand that this is the reason why we come to the Nilo company. Now with the upgrade is happening, the rider gets to see that in real time for what's happening that moment versus before it was very difficult to see. So now they can make sure the customer has actually seen that quote in picture and video before or after they call, which to me is a big win for us.
And it's awareness. There's so much of what I'm doing and what Tully's doing that ties together. If we don't tell a customer that mobile service is available, they don't ask for it. They don't know that it's available. If we don't tell them that I'm going to send you a video of what we find on your vehicle from the technician, from the doctor of your vehicle, they don't know to look for it. So we have to tie those things together. But when we do those things, when you show up in their driveway, you build layers of trust. When you do things that they're familiar with, you build layers of trust. And talking about a video and elements of what they're familiar with, just look in Tully's screen right now. He's got videos running. There's 3 different screens back there. We got telephones. If we're looking to do something around the house, we go to YouTube, we go to TikTok. Everything is visual. And when we can make it visual, whether it's in their driveway, on a video, then they say, okay, yes, that's my vehicle. Yes, I see that it needs that. Yes, yes. And it becomes a service, truly a service to the customer rather than a dreaded experience.
Skylar, are these some of the things we're going to hear about and see later this week in New Orleans?
You are. And not only that, I think personally, you think about connecting our front end of the business to fixed ops, right? How do we connect retail to fixed ops? And it really starts when that customer buys a vehicle. That customer service experience starts at the time that they buy that vehicle. So get them to get comfortable with starting a text message. And so that's another thing that we're doing. We're improving the ability for the consumer to connect back to the service writer. Hey, I just was in there 2 weeks ago. Here's my check engine light. Or this is the code that it's throwing up on my dash. So that way the actual advisor and the customer can see what's going on, right? We don't have just words. Words mean something, but if I'm a customer and I can send my advisor a video or picture of what's going on, that's super important. So we're making some major enhancements to allow dealerships to be able to really make that connection with their customers. And I think the biggest thing too, look what's going on. We've seen a lot of major weather, right? And if weather shuts down a dealership, how we wanted to make it faster for a manager like Ed and Tully to be able to go and guess what? I'm going to select all my appointments today. I'm going to select all my customers, and within a couple clicks, I can send a message out to all of them. And that's what we really want to do, is we really want to make it easier on our dealership staff and our customers to be able to really truly connect with the dealership and have that relationship, right? No hiding behind corners. This is exactly what's going on. And really making sure that we really build that trust that we've been talking about for many years. There's that bridge of trust that we really have got to continue to build a stronger bridge. Even in 2025, we all have lots of work to do. And I'm glad to be part of the resources that many of these fine gentlemen that I'm on this call with today, they use. And it's really important to our business, and it's really important to the actual automotive industry. Really, we've got to set a standard. We got to set that standard high, and our teams have to set that standard high. So,
Ed, it sounds like all systems go for 2025.
It is absolutely all systems go, and it's about how we do it. It's about looking at the customer's lens instead of what's convenient for us. Is what are they looking for? And when we do those things, it's all systems go for all parties involved, not just for us. And yes, all systems go is a theme for us this year. And because it isn't a let's wait and see how we do this, it's a let's figure this out and keep going. And that's where innovation happens. And you never know what you stumble. It may be next. It may be even further out than mobile service. So there's elements. I mean, I look forward to the day, and I'll dance this out there. I look forward to a day where the autonomous does happen, and it starts up in the middle of the night, goes and gets serviced, and it's back in your driveway by the time you need it the next morning. When those things happen, then that's really convenience. That there's not a whole lot of there's not something there to dread to have to go do. It's already done for you.
Tully, amazing time to be in our industry right now.
It is. I love the all systems goes. Our theme this year is be the best you can be in 2025. You know, when you look at personal best for everybody, that's what we're looking for. All we want you to do is be your best. And I just want another comment I want to say, it kind of piggyback off of Skylar and also Ed. Here's the thing. What business are we in? Repeat and referral business. And Ed and I were together as you were, Ted, and Ed gave me this horrible number of retention. The average store is under 30%. I cannot fathom that number. And when we look at some of our stores, and that's what we drive for, is repeat and referral. And we have stores in the 70 to 75% coming back in 14 months. This is critical for us. When you're in a store, your whole goal is to do what? Make the environment, make the service, make the customer believe that we're here for them and make it easy to do business. And guess what? They come back again, driving that retention number up. And that is the holy grail of all the stores. Everything that we buy to make a store better and faster and easier is to drive to that retention. And Ed, like, holy mackerel, are you sure about the number? And he said, Tully, listen to me. It's under 30. And I went, oh my God. I think 70 is a minimum number.
It absolutely is.
Go ahead.
It absolutely is a minimum number. We have created all these atmospheres out there for customers to go elsewhere because we wasn't meeting it. And if only 30% of them is coming to us, then 70% of them are going somewhere. And that's what we have to look at. And they make it convenient when you show up at one of those other aftermarket places or whatever. It isn't, well, let me look, I'll take it in. I'll look at it next week. We're going to look at it right now. We're going to lock you in. And that what they're doing is filling the voids that we're not. That's where Carvana comes from, Vroom, all those things. It's on the sales side of filling the voids that we created. We have to go find ways to fill those voids to prevent those guys from continuing to show up, because it takes us more time to compete against them and work to keep things out of their driveways than if we did it on the front side and was more proactive on it.
Amen. Gentlemen, I understand you'll all be at NADA end of the week. Skylar, you'll be there with the Cox team on the exhibit floor?
I will be there. I'll be going between X time, and I'll also be going over Viato as well. So here, my goal this year is how do we connect retail to fixed ops, and it's super important. Those two things are super important to make sure that we retain that customer in any dealership's ecosystem, that dealerships truly have the correct data, and really making sure that your solutions talk to each other. Right? There's nothing more frustrating than when we buy a car that totally does not know what's wrong with it, right? We're creating some new things. So there's a lot of things that we're doing to connect retail to fixed ops, and I'm looking forward to this next year. And truly, it's all about Ed what said here. When we find a problem, 30%, we got to innovate, and that's my job at Cox Automotive. Cox Automotive is how do we build solutions to really innovate and help these dealerships stay within one screen or multiple screens, right? And really just make their job easier, because we got to speed up the consumer experience, right? We got to speed that up. And that's what I love about mobility. It truly does speed things up. And the other thing too is like videos and pictures like that. We're down to 6 minutes that these advisors are getting a response back from their customers. 6 minutes. Stop wasting your time. You know, if it's working, and if you hear people, me and Tully and Ed, they're telling you that it works, then do it, right? Do it. Get out of your seat and go make a change this year, right? We're ready to launch. Let's launch Fix Ops into 2025. Let's make it a year to remember, right? Let's get that number from 30% to 50%, right? That 20% growth is a huge, huge stretch. Let's go, right? Let's make it happen this year. And I'm excited to help you be a part of this process, hear about these issues that dealerships are really struggling with, But guess what? Unless you don't tell me, I can't innovate, right? And I think that's a big thing. That's a big part of it.
Right.
And for the audience that'll be there later this week at NADA, I would have Skylar tell you what booth he's in, but you can it's never a question where Cox is at NADA.
Easy to find. Yeah, we don't need the booth number on here, Ed. You're right.
Exactly.
And Skylar, I see over Tully's shoulder behind him there that pop-up stick sign. Tully, you got something in the works for us coming up?
Yes, we do. We're gonna try to shine like Ed did over on the East Coast, on the West Coast in March. We're gonna have a big pop-up, and of course, Skylar and Cox Automotive will be part of it. We're super excited, and it also piggybacks to our superstar celebration for the Nilo company and our superstars for last year. We're up 47%, up to 91 superstars of text writers, salespeople, and F&I people. So we're super excited. One, to have Ted to come out and visit, and then two, to shine and show how great the Nilo company is. So we're very excited to have you out and get to show the world how we do things here at the Nilo company.
Yep. And Sarah's coming too, Tully. So
absolutely, we're very excited about her coming out and giving some of our BDCs some great tips and show off how well we're doing.
All right, gentlemen, we're off to a great start this year. Be the best you can be. All systems go. Tully Williams at the Nilo Company, Ed Roberts at Bozard Ford Lincoln, Skylar Chadwick, Cox Automotive, V Auto, X Time, and all the great brands here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Welcome to the all-new BizzyCar. Recalls made easy. What does your recall process look like today? Do you rely on the reactive mix of mailers, emails, and calls that your service advisors catch them as they come into the service drive? Tomorrow's proactive process looks much different. With automation leading the way via texts, a mix of live outreach, and advanced appointment scanning. Here's how the BizzyCar process works. Step 1. Get the data directly from your manufacturer. Then integrate with your DMS and scheduling software. Add in a mix of BizzyCar's own proprietary data along with AI-powered website scanning, and voila, it's on step 2. Now it's time to identify which VINs have open recalls on them and help you in 3 different categories. consumers, fleet, and B2B, which consists of the other franchise and used car lots in your PMA. Slide on into step 3. Here comes the automation. BizzyCar has a very robust, smart-driven texting platform that automatically helps reduce no-shows and give your customers their preferred method of communication. Now you're getting somewhere. Step 4 is all you. We schedule according to your preferences. You complete the job checking. Little to no effort on your part and guaranteed ROI on our part. Call or email to schedule your BizzyCar demo today.
Keep an eye on the clock. Aaron Waters from OEM Interactive is here with a special countdown. Up next.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. The next stop on our Route 66 road trip is our good friend Aaron Waters, the president, CEO of OEM Interactive, online parts, taking the world by storm. What a great place to be. Aaron, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Ted, thanks for having me. Great to be here as always. Love our intimate chats, and looking forward to another great one here today in the new year.
You're going to do something different today. You're going to ring in the new year, and I understand that speaking to some folks on your team, that you've got to share with us today the top 10 ways to kickstart your online parts and accessory sales for 2025.
Yeah, Ted, I wanted to mix it up a little bit. Like, it's New Year, New Year's resolutions. Everybody's putting their list together, like sitting there New Year's Day and going through and creating their 10, 20 things that they want to change or improve on, or whatever for the new year. And I thought that it would be a great idea to keep it light, fresh, entertaining, almost David Letterman-esque style. Giving your audience a top 10 list and the top 10 ways to help kickstart your online parts and accessory sales for 2025. And we're going to have a little fun with it. Not too many, silly jokes, but all good stuff to maybe a few. Yes. All good things to help implement in your online parts and accessory sales if you're doing it now. And if you're not and you're thinking about doing it, these are the things that you want to keep in mind when launching into the e-commerce space. So,
all right. So with that, I think we're going to need a drum roll. Okay.
Yeah.
And here we go. All right. And starting with that, Aaron.
Or anything. Yeah.
We got the drum roll. We got it in. We're going to put it in. All right. So with that, take us through the top 10 ways in 2025 to kickstart those online parts and accessories.
Yes. Number 10. I love this one. Not a lot of people are doing it. Some people are saying it's a little difficult to do, but I highly recommend it. Having a dedicated or branded phone line for your parts website. Right. Now, this is a big one that you're going to want to have in place. A lot of customers, if your parts website is Acme Auto Parts Outlet and your dealership is Bob's Honda of Tucson, right? And you've got that parts department number on the website, and people are calling you, and the first response they get is Bob's Honda of Tucson when they're on the Acme Auto Parts Outlet website. It creates confusion. It creates a lot of hangups. More people calling back again, and it just doesn't start the online customer experience in the right direction. So I highly recommend it if you can to put a dedicated or brand phone line for your e-commerce site on the website there.
Number 10, dedicated, like it.
Yeah. Number 9, got to do this one. Branded packing or shipping tape for all of your boxes. And if you can afford it, do the same for having branded boxes, right? Now that's a little bit pricier. However, branded shipping tape is not that expensive, right? And you have to remember, if you're shipping something from California to Massachusetts, there's a lot of eyeballs that are seeing that package and a lot of hands that are handling that package along the way. That is a mobile billboard.
That's great
for your business. And not a lot of people are thinking about that. Why do you think Amazon puts this, the packing tape on it with their logo or the branded boxes, right? So things to think about. Not a lot of people have can afford to do the boxes. I get it. It's a, hefty cost there, but branded
the tape. And the tape is usually like it stands out like a blue or some color. And when it arrives, I know it's from you.
And you get excited too, right? Like when you see that Amazon package there, you're like, oh, what's in there? You get excited about that. So, and it's the same thing if you have a branded box or branded shipping tape on the box for your brand. Highly recommend it. Easy to implement. Talk to us about that one. That's number 9. Number eight, the sales department does this. A lot of service departments do this. Online parts and accessories, we don't see it that much. We create it for our own partners, but that's create and execute a yearly promotional calendar for your online parts and accessories business. There's a lot of e-commerce sales dates that are out there, and you need to take advantage of that. And even when consumers aren't necessarily searching or shopping for parts and accessories at a particular point in time, if you're able to have good deals and just continue to market to them throughout the course of the year, they may buy when they're not normally going to buy. Right, that's an easy way to help leverage your database, nurture your database, and keep revenue coming in and stay top of mind. Yep. So create and execute a yearly promotional calendar for your online e-commerce website. That's number 8.
Number 8. Okay.
Number 7. I tell this to everybody: new partners, existing partners. Setting realistic goals and expectations, right? The market is ever changing. And if you're just new getting into the space, this isn't a flip the switch and you're going to get rich, right? Like it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to be patient. You have to set realistic goals. Every year when we sit down with our partners at the beginning of the year, we just did this for all of our partners. We go through the past year's sales. We look at the good months, the bad months, what their marketing budgets were, and set goals, sales goals, and revenue goals for them for each month of the year. And we set realistic goals and expectations so that they know what they're getting into. They know what to expect in that particular month. So, and goals are different for everyone. Right. And one thing that we have to just to note is that we shouldn't be comparing ourselves month over month. We need to be comparing ourselves year over year. Just like car sales, there is a cyclical cycle to the online parts and accessories business. Okay.
Love it.
Number 7.
Love it. Are you throwing these as you do them? You gotta toss them as you go.
I'm throwing them. Yes. Number 6. I know some of you guys out there are going to think that maybe this is a little difficult, but it's really not. This can be done in bulk and it can be done automated. Highly recommend this. Send a follow-up email or message shortly after the customer receives their package. This isn't a pair of shoes. This isn't a t-shirt. This is their livelihood. This is their vehicle. This is what gets them from point A to point B. We want to make sure they're happy with what they got. They got the right order. They got the right part or accessory that they purchased. We want to make sure that they're happy. This is an opportunity for you to potentially upsell them. And this is also an opportunity to solicit a review, right? So send a follow-up message. It can be done from an automated standpoint or in bulk.
Yeah. It's arrived. Okay. Yeah. Like it. All right.
Number 5, right?
Top 5. Here we go.
Top 5. Here we go. One of the most frequent complaints that I get is Aaron, we're having too many phone calls. We get too many phone calls. I want to pull the phone number off of the website. Don't do that. However, you need to add a live chat or a text to chat tool to your website. Look, these customers, these shoppers, they don't want to call you. Trust me, they don't.
Yeah, right,
they don't have time to call you. They don't want to stop and be put on hold, or going back to one of the first ones, getting confused with who are they calling, right? Just add the live chat or the text to chat feature to your parts website. You're going to be able to handle more than 10, 20 calls or chats at once versus one call at a time, right? So trust me, this is a game changer. It helps your efficiencies. It helps improve your conversion rate. Got to do it. We have our own tool, Parts Messenger Pro. Call us. We'll integrate it today. It takes no time. Do it.
I love the new format. I like it. Okay.
Number 4, adding a promo card insert or a review card insert to every package that's shipped out there, or any branded swag like a sticker in there. We love the promo card inserts. We recommend it for all of our partners. We've got a lot of our partners that do this. We design them, we create them, we ship them to our partners. This helps, is a huge factor in repeat customers and getting them back sooner rather than later. There's a huge return on investment on adding those promo card inserts. If you don't want to put a promo in there, add a review card insert in there, or just put some branded stickers in there. Who has a refrigerator in their garage that's got stickers all over it? I do. Just in the box. Put it in the box before you seal it. Put it in the box. What's in the box? Stickers, a promo card, swag. Number 3, listen up, because this is a really, really good one, and not as many people out there are doing this as we would like them to do. But take custom product photos, and if you can, take videos. Why? If you take the custom product photos, you get a 70% increase in clicks on your ads, you get a 24% increase in conversion rate, and you get a 38% increase in your return on ad spend. If you add videos to that percentage increases an additional 3%, right? So this is huge. If you have questions on how to do this, how to execute this, it may seem a bit overwhelming, talk to us. It isn't. There's so many tools out there at your disposal where you can create custom photos, videos, upload them to your website. Highly recommend it. Can't say it enough. Number two, if you have it, highly recommend it. Add installation instructions to the package. Okay. Imagine getting something from IKEA without the instructions, right? Or imagine I have trouble with the instructions. Yeah. Imagine getting a Lego set. Your son or your daughter getting a Lego set without the instructions. Mind blown, right? And you might not have all the instructions, and you might not be able to print up all the instructions for every single part that's ordered. If you have a lot of items, parts, or accessories that are being consistently ordered, print them out. Get them on like a 5x7 card and print them up at bulk. And you can add those in there along with, having it designed on the other side, maybe a promo code on that 5x7 card. That's in there. Now they open up the package, they've got their part or accessory, they've got the installation instructions. I mean, that is a great user experience that not a lot of people are doing in this space. So if you can, stands out. I highly recommend that you add the installation instructions or a link to them or a QR code to them that'll send them to a video or to your website on how to do that. So remember to add those. And the number one reason or way to help kickstart your parts and accessories online business for 2025, Shameless plug, hire OEM Interactive.
Whoa!
You want to be
I
the
didn't
best.
see that coming.
You have to work with the best. You know, we are not just a traditional marketing firm. We are an agency that is comprised of former general managers, fixed ops directors, parts managers, service managers, parts warehouse folks, aftermarket folks, you name it. We've got it. It is a real peer-to-peer conversation. We know every platform in the space. We are truly an extension of your parts department. And that should be your number one goal, is to hire OEM Interactive for 2025. And Ted, just for additional bonus here for your listeners, if you some additional ways, focus on SEO, start a YouTube channel, influencer marketing. And if you sign up by February 14th, we're going to give you some love. Why February 14th? Because it's Valentine's Day. We want to give you some love. Sign up by February 14th. Call, email, text, send us a letter. Use promo code TED. Why? Because Ted's the man. Use promo code TED. We'll give you $1,000 off, or excuse me, $1,000 towards your marketing. That can be used within the first 90 days. No setup fees, no long-term service agreements with OEM Interactive. It's 30 days, 30-day out with OEM Interactive. And trust me, you will not be disappointed. And we would love to work with you and help you all achieve your goals for 2025 and beyond. So there is your top 10
smoking hot
ways to kickstart your online parts and accessory sales in 2025. You heard it here first, folks.
All right, everybody, the top 10 ways to kickstart your online parts and accessory sales for this year, 2025. Aaron Waters. Aaron, what's the best way to reach out to you and OEM? How do we get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can. Good question, Ted. So you can reach us at oeminteractive.com. Fill out the form there. You can email me directly at awaters, that's WATTERS at OEM Interactive. Or you can call us at 888-939-4634.
Everybody, Aaron Waters, here he is. He's the man. Reach out, OEM Interactive. What a great way to start the year. Aaron, thanks for everything that you and OEM Interactive do for our industry.
Thank you, Ted. Always a pleasure to be here, and let's rock in 2025, buddy.
Let's rock it, baby. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Aaron Waters. I'm the president and founder here of OEM Interactive, the digital marketing firm that specializes in online parts and accessory sales. At OEM Interactive, our philosophy has always been very straightforward. Our people, our partners is our purpose. Our team is built of experts not only in marketing and advertising, but also in fixed operations. Our expertise and strategies are proven to supercharge your online parts and accessory sales. Sound good to you so far? Great. Head on over to oeminteractive.com to learn more about partnering with us. OEM Interactive, sell more parts today.
Hey everyone, Sarah Vantine here. I've got the coolest thing to show you today. I don't know if you're like me, but whenever I go to places, I'm not very good at keeping track of people's business cards. It's kind of laborious for me to get all that information imported into my phone, and I'm also pretty bad about sticking business cards in my pocket and having them fall out as I'm going about the rest of my day. Well, I just got this card in the mail, and let me tell you, this is so cool. This is the Capital One Muse card. It comes in this sleeve, but when you pull it out, it is solid metal, and it has some of the coolest technology embedded in the card. If you want to share your contact details with someone, all you do is tap this part of the card onto their phone, and it pulls up a unique URL right there on their screen that can help get your contact information and their information into your dealership's CRM and Dealer Navigator. They can also quickly access your dealership's inventory and even get pre-approved right there from the link. The other cool feature is that it gives your customers a way to save your contact details right in their phone at the touch of a button, and that prevents them from losing your business card, because all they do is click save on the contact information and that's it. It makes things super easy for your customer, and you only have to hold on to this one business card. And this is not going to get bent or messed up looking. It's solid metal. It's fantastic. If you want more details on the Capital One Muse card, I'll drop a link to learn more right in the comments, or you can visit CapitalOne.com and check out the Auto Financing Dealer tab.
There is no one we would rather have along for the ride than our next panelists from Better Car People.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Ted Ings with Sarah Van Tine and Ed Roberts. We are at Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, Florida. We are here with the team from Better Car People, Amy Gunderson and Justin Hill. Everybody, welcome to Bozard Ford Lincoln and the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thank you so much. This is incredible.
Great stuff. And Ed, a lot of big news out of Better Car People in the past few months.
So there's been a lot of noise about AI and various different things of what AI can do, but Better Car People decided that they really wanted to be Better Car People and went out and added a product to their portfolio that really enhances the AI element and acquired Brook AI.
And that is accurate, yes.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. And we were excited when we were able to kind of combine forces with Better Car People and Proactive Dealer Solutions and bring on Brook AI, because that AI technology is fantastic and we know it's strong, but we also love the fact that we have real people. So we call it collaborative intelligence. We have strong AI that works on both sales and service, but then we also have real people on shore that help assist, because AI is going to break about 50% of the time, so we have our live people to help out.
And Justin, I think the backbone of the whole thing is the fact that you've got deep roots in the company, in retail automotive in particular, in training and on the training side, if you want to speak to that.
Absolutely. And you've heard it all throughout the course of the day. Ed and his team do a phenomenal job with a lot of different things, one of those being process. And we know that process has to be trained and retrained. So we started out training in 2001, have built over 4,000 BDCs, service teams and sales teams. So we understand the importance of that consistent emphasis on doing the right thing right every time.
And Justin, I want to also come back to something that Ed said earlier, and that was something around communication. And that is becoming so prevalent in what the customer expects throughout the entire process. Can you speak into a little bit more about how you train really the entire dealership body?
Absolutely. So you're right, communication is key, and even one of the topics we talk about is de-siloing different departments. Each department is critical to the other when we talk about communicating the customer's needs, the customer's wants, whether we're talking about somebody taking an inbound call on the BDC or when they get to the sales floor or to the service drive, that constant communication and understanding what the customer needs, what they've already talked about, is paramount to make sure that we drive a consistent customer experience. And as we all know, that's what is so important in the business now, and what truly separates us is that ability to give that world-class experience like Bozard Ford Lincoln delivers every day.
Well, Amy said it earlier too, it's collaborative. And a lot of times we look at an AI product and we look at it as, who can it replace? What can it do? And who can I move out and do something else with, or whatever else? But it's about really enhancing what we do. And that's what technology should do. It should enhance the processes that we have. And when it's collaborative, then that's when we all tie it together and make it enhance what we do, rather than look for what holes can I create and replace it with AI, because there is still the human element that we seek after, and we need it there.
There is, and I always say you can throw a widget on a website, but it doesn't mean it's going to work, right? You need people, you need process, you need all of those skill sets in place to make everything work. I don't think AI is going to replace people. I think it enhances. It makes us more effective because it removes the mundane and allows us to focus on what we truly need to focus on, which is the customer.
Amy, I really also love the fact that, all of the technology, you have so much information that's available to the dealership too. So what pieces are really important for dealers to be monitoring today?
Well, from my perspective and what I work with the most, it is just engagement. So really monitoring the number of people who are coming to your website, how quickly they're responded to, what does that first touch engagement look like? Because we know that customers expect a quick response, but they just don't want any response, they want a quality response. So I feel like that piece is truly critical to oversee and make sure you're managing well. So that first touch engagement, knowing who's been on your site, how are you responding to them, how are you connecting and engaging, those are some points that I think are important.
Amy and Justin, if I may, at the Fixed Ops Roundtable for the past 3.5 years, the number one thing that we hear that folks need help with is the phones. And I mean, it is far and away number one. And I don't mean scientific, but we need to answer the phone, okay? And whether it's AI or whether it's a human person, the phones are an integral part of dealership operations, especially fixed operations, Iggy.
I completely agree. So I called my dealership where I'm from, and I was trying to get a service appointment for my vehicle. Called and called and called, got put through a switchboard, got put to a wrong person, and that cycle became very frustrating. I'm very loyal to my dealer, so I did make my way to them, but we want to remove those pain points. We want to make sure that every customer is responded to. So the ability to take technology like Brook AI, which is our digital voice assistant.
Yep.
Yeah, our digital voice assistant, to be able to take that and then pair it with live humans, making sure that no customer is ever left waiting, no customer is ever dropped, no customer ever goes through the cycle that I went through. And if you want to speak to that a little bit more, Justin.
What I would add too is the main thing is this: when we talk about service, one of the key things that continuously comes up is CSI, right? CSI is so important. And what we have to remember is most people think about CSI starting when I get to the lane and I interact with my advisor, but it's certainly not true. My CSI experience begins when I call in and how long it takes to interact with somebody, and do they help me schedule an appointment quickly? Did they get what I needed to make sure that when I get here, I'm not gonna have to reschedule or bring my vehicle back another day? So when we really look at holistically our entire experience, we have to recognize that that is the case. And I would say from an AI standpoint, if you're using an AI, great. If you're using live people, great. If you're using a combination, a collaborative approach, great.
Even better.
Yeah, the main thing is when you talk about AI and whether I should or shouldn't use it, the question becomes this: is it a better customer experience? Right, because some dealers are worried about that experience they'll get from an AI. True. Is it a better experience to have my customer have to wait on hold, or is it a better experience to at least give them the opportunity to use an AI and schedule quickly and efficiently?
And Ed, you have the communications center, as you call it, all the different logistics that go into managing not just the customer's experience here in the dealership, but also the mobile service. How important has communication throughout that appointment process been for Bozard?
Communication's key, but that goes back to training. When you have all the different elements of, is it quick lane, is it Ford service, is it main service, is it Lincoln service, is it fleet service? When you have all those elements, that's training for each one of those. And if AI could streamline some of that, then that's what really makes us all more effective. And like you said earlier, the customers want an accurate response. They want a human-like accurate response. I mean, think about all of us when just a voicemail picks up, we automatically get dejected. I don't know how to read a message. I don't want to talk to the computer. I don't want. Well, that's the same thing that we do when it feels like it's computer generated. And so we got to make sure it feels like there's a human element to it.
I agree.
Ed, I can't imagine how many phone interactions there are monthly here at a dealership like Bozard Ford Lincoln. Do you know approximately what that would be?
I know what we take in and what we take out every day, and we take in 400 to 600 calls a day, and we send out about 350 calls a day. So yes, that's just on the fixed op side. With the variable side, we don't have a BDC on the variable side. We have our internet sales folks, and they take those calls, and that's much less on that because it shifts to more of a mobile experience rather than through the store.
So we don't count all those calls. But just on the fixed side, there's almost 1,000 deals a day that go through here.
So Justin, what I'm hearing is that fixed operations is really where it's at, okay? On the phone, being able to do this efficiently and effectively.
Absolutely. That's I came from fixed, so I'm maybe a little biased here, but I believe that fixed is the backbone of the store, right? That's where I continue to set the customer expectation, and if I meet and exceed that, it all turns back to variable because I get the opportunity to sell them another vehicle again down the road. So fixed is absolutely where it's at.
Amy, this is very exciting to be in this arena right now with all the things happening in technology, but in particular in retail automotive technology.
It's incredibly exciting, and I'm very grateful to be here today and be able to talk with you all, and I appreciate that. And I think that the situation right now for car dealers is definitely exciting.
And Ed, I can't imagine the strides you're going to make over the next year alone in mobile, okay? And all the things that have to happen around it to support that. And of course, that includes the phones.
Absolutely. And together, we all become better car people.
I want to congratulate Better Car People today on the alliance now, having acquired Brook.ai. Congratulations to you. I know we have a lot of big things ahead of us in the year. So, Sarah, big news on Better Car People.
It's exciting. It's an exciting announcement to have, and then it's also just such a great opportunity for the industry to really have the tools of both the training, the people, and the technology.
I'm Ted Ings on behalf of Sarah Van Tine and Ed Roberts and Better Car People. Thank you for watching today. We're here at Bozard Ford Lincoln. We have a lot more coming up. We'll be right back.
We are Better Car People. Every missed lead is a missed deal. We'll show you how to connect with modern customers.
We're calling the right customers with the right message at the right time. And it's funny, if you call them, they will respond.
Better Car People Sales BDC delivers reactive lead management, proactive campaigns, and long-term engagement.
Welcome back. My name is Brooke. What can I do for you today?
I want to bring my car in.
Sure, one moment.
It has electrical problems.
Let me get that appointment booked for you.
Brooke lets you focus on service lane customers.
Thanks for calling. Have a great day.
I was able to purchase a store in White Plains, and that store has gone from 200th place in the United States of America to now the 33rd place in the United States of America.
Better Car People can give you the tools, the resources, and the confidence to hit your team's performance goals. Supercharge your sales process with Better Car People's Sales BDC solutions. Connect with us today.
Lyft Concierge's courtesy ride platform makes it easy to send reliable, affordable rides to the people who matter to your organization, even if they don't have the Lyft app. Here's how it works. To start a new ride, log in on your desktop or mobile device and click Request. Then, fill out your rider's info. You'll see the ride's price and distance up front. Need to message the driver? Add a note here. Send the ride right away, schedule it for later, or send a flexible ride that riders can request on their own. Choose the ride type that fits your rider's needs, such as luxury and extra seat options. And voila, your ride request is on the way. Once a nearby driver accepts the ride, your rider will receive a text message with everything they need to know for a smooth pickup. If your rider doesn't have a mobile phone, they'll receive an automated call to their landline with all the details. From your dashboard, you can track and monitor active and upcoming rides and support your riders. With Lyft Concierge, you can take better care of your people, simplify transportation management, and drive your organization forward. Log in to send a ride with Lyft Concierge.
Hello, my name is Nikhil Kalani, Chief Information Security Officer at Proton Dealership IT and Cybersecurity. We recently opened a brand new Security Operations Center here in our Dayton, Ohio headquarters. This center is a substantial upgrade for constant monitoring of suspicious activity on our customer systems. On-site professionals analyze the cyber landscape, the techniques criminals are using, and monitor the signals received by our tools. Our new Security Operations Center will elevate monitoring and response to a whole new level, keeping you safer than ever before. If you'd like to learn more about what Proton can do for you, let's talk.
For our next segment, we're kicking it into high gear with the Volley panel.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Our great friends from Volley are with us here today. Sarah, so much going on in this space right now in our industry.
Ted, this is an exciting topic. We have some of the best dealers on this panel with Scott Davis and Liza Martinson with us today. I'm looking forward, Ted, to hearing what these ladies have to say.
That's right. And Liza and Scott, very grateful to you for Volley being a certified partner at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Congratulations to you and Scott on all the success that the company's having.
Yeah, 2024 was a great year. Now that we're into 2025, very excited for what the year will bring. We'll have some good updates in the episode in the spring, Ted.
All right. So, Sarah, we're going to be talking a little bit about outbound calling. If you'd like to help us introduce our folks who we have today.
Yes, Victoria and Renee are two incredible business development managers. Ladies, would you please introduce yourselves to the roundtable and also tell us a little bit about your title and your role?
Well, thank you for having me today, Ted and Sarah. My name is Victoria Quaranta. I am the Director of Business Development on the service side with the Gerald Auto Group. I look forward to this session today.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, and I'm Renee Breslin. I am the Director of Business Development for both sales and service for the Eastern Division of the Ciocca Automotive Group. Also looking forward to today's session.
Ted, I don't think they did a good enough job with their introductions. Let me say a little bit more because these guys are Volley OGs. Vicky was actually our first central BDC. She has really had a good focus on outbound. I know I spoke with a Subaru rep and they're like, geez, Vicky does an incredible job. These Gerald stores are great. They went from doing no outbound and just trying to get their arms around inbound with 10 stores. They've added 4 more stores. Their outbound volume has skyrocketed. They convert tons of appointments every week. Vicky does a great job and she's a pro. Renee is also an OG, kind of a theme today. So Renee, when she started out, she was in charge of one Ciocca region and it was 8 stores and it started with us. And pretty soon, Renee kept getting more and more responsibility. And now she's over, I think is it 30 stores, 29 stores, something like that. Renee's team is super good at outbound conversion. They also are really good at making a plan to make sure they are successful and to help every store be successful, which is really hard with a BDC because every service manager feels like they're not getting enough love. These guys will bring it today. I put it in their file afterwards that they need to work on their introduction skills.
And Scott, you've got one more superstar who I'm seeing all over Fixed Ops and on BDC. If you introduce Liza as well.
Yeah, I'm Liza Martinson. Thank you, Ted. Worked with Volley since about 2018. I lead our customer success team. So we install all of our clients, including Vicky and Renee, based out of Fort Myers, Florida. So yeah, really excited to talk about outbound. I know we spend a lot of time focusing on outbound. So ready for whatever questions you have today.
All right. Sarah, I'll let you lead the way.
Well, Victoria, I want to come to you first. You know, there's a lot of conversation in the industry. BDCs historically have been really focused on just managing the influx of phone calls and the inbound side of things, but outbound is becoming more and more important. So why is it more important today to do these outbound phone calls?
Well, for us, our outbound appointments are responsible for over 22% of our total appointments made by our service BDC. So we have a strong team here that focuses on converting contacting the customers and then converting them to appointments. I mean, we already know that our outbound efforts will ensure our customer retention, but getting them in the shop is most important for us.
And Renee, you oversee both sales and service operations in your BDC. So tell us, how is it important to do outbound campaigns when you're managing both sides of the customer equation?
I mean, it's so important. We have to be proactive in reaching out to our customers rather than waiting for our customers to reach out to us, right? That allows us to help fill our showrooms and help fill our shops. So that way we can sell cars and fix them. So it's extremely important to just make sure that we're proactive about staying on top of it.
And Liza, you've seen a lot with both Renee and Victoria. Can you elaborate a little bit on how they got started and what success have they seen in these outbound campaigns?
Yeah, I think we tend to talk about outbound from the perspective of the customer's journey, the customer life cycle. So one of the reasons that outbound is so important is that you have to take ownership of what that life cycle looks like. You can't leave it up to your customer to contact you, to know when their vehicle's due, to schedule on time, to have any idea what your scheduling looks like. So we built out their outbound initiatives kind of based on where the customer was in the life cycle and what we wanted those communications to look like from the customer's perspective. So they've both had a lot of success with initiating the relationship with the customer as soon as the vehicle is sold. So setting that first service appointment and then continuing to reach out to the customer throughout the life cycle of their vehicle. Because, we know if you sit back and wait for your customers to contact you, you'll have a small segment of really loyal customers who always schedule on time, but you'll have many customers who you never talk to and you never see again. So they both have had really good success, I think, in establishing, like Renee said, proactive outreach based on the customer.
Scott, what other pieces would you add to this? I mean, there's so much to learn about outbound campaigns and how important it is to these dealers to really reach those customers.
Yeah, so there's a couple themes that are coming out. Everyone needs to service their vehicle. It's a guaranteed transaction. It's just not necessarily with the place they bought it at. So every outbound campaign you make, either they weren't coming in or you got them to come in early. And we recently looked at 8 million outbound attempts. We took 2 million of customers who were due for service. They were actually a control group we took from vendor data we had. We compared it with 6 million outbound attempts where they connected. The lift on the database was 52% better if you reach them, if you look forward 120 days. So you can't take for granted. They're not thinking of you as much as you're thinking of them. So you can't take for granted they're coming in. The other thing is, if there's one common theme that we always hear nowadays, labor was brutal before COVID. It's much tougher now. There's an additional 10,000 baby boomers retiring every week over the normal rates. It's going to get much tougher. If you talk with any fixed ops director, they'll say, oh my gosh, I could use more techs, or my gosh, I'm 3 weeks out. I know that both Vicky and Renee have to massage how they schedule with certain stores. And when we looked at 25 million inbound calls recently, 4 minutes and 4 seconds was the average inbound appointment. If you took out state inspections, which those average appointments take about 2 minutes and 12 seconds, the average appointment for an outbound appointment was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So if you think about that, when you call someone an outbound, you're actually helping them. You're being useful to them, to helping them take care of something they've got to do anyway. You're using a script. You have control instead of them calling in because they've got a problem, and you can fit it better with the strategies that you have. So it's everything in these businesses. We have lots of stores sign up just for the mere fact that they need to take care or try to manage the expectations of their business. They're like, I can't do any more faster, but at least I can make these people happier who are calling.
I want to do a follow-up if I can, first with Renee and then Vicky in that order. You're both working with groups, large groups. Renee, first, do you work with each service manager from each location to build a communication plan? First for Renee, and the same question for Vicky.
Yeah, so we don't necessarily, I guess, work with them to build the communication plan. They kind of really trust us to do that. We're always open to their input if they're, willing to kind of work with us, or, for something maybe really brand specific, we might go to them for some input. What we kind of work with them more so on is prioritizing the different campaigns and what they might be really looking for their shop for us to focus on. There might be certain recalls or something like that might be something that, needs to get done, and that might be a higher priority. So we might change that in Volley and just change the priority levels. And so we meet with them regularly for that and change them probably monthly.
And Vicky, yourself, your group?
So I do meet with the majority of my service managers monthly, and it is not as much to plan the specific campaigns, more so to go over previous month's progress, successes, and plan for the next month. So I do like to get their input on what they're needing, just like Renee. We strategize. They'll tell me if we have any special promotions or things that they'd like me to focus on, and then I take it from there.
Liza, if I can, I know that these outbound calls are a real sweet spot for Volley, and you folks excel in that. Do you work with a lot of groups like we have here, or do you work with individual stores as well?
Yes and yes. So we do. I love working with groups. I think there's unique, I don't want to even say challenges, but there's unique approaches, I guess, when you are running a BDC over a large group and it's many brands, blah, blah, blah. But we definitely do have a lot of single stores as well. Or, if it's a 2-store group. So yeah, there's different strategies, I guess, depending on how many stores, how many reps the team has, sort of thing. But yeah, everyone comes to Volley thinking about inbound, thinking about, oh my gosh, I might be missing calls, or I don't even know if I'm missing calls. I'm worried that customers are staying on hold for too long. But it's one of the first things I always, with service, I feel like outbound is such an easy win. It's really not hard. And if you're steering your campaigns and you're steering your team correctly, you see success really fast. So yes, sweet spot.
Scott, Volley really stands out in this space. Talk to us a little about that and some of the thinking behind, because some of the stats that you just gave us a little bit earlier, that's common to hear that from you. You really know this part of the industry.
Well, we really focus on the phones. I mean, we've got a good advantage that our users are in Volley 100% of the time. We do email and SMS also on their behalf, but a lot of what happens there is relatively automatic. We try to help them keep the people engaged 45 to 50 minutes an hour. So, hey, I got a couple of follow-up questions too, Ted, if I could.
Yeah.
One for Renee and one for Vicky. So, Vicky, when you guys started out, one of the reasons I thought it would be good to have you on this panel today is you guys weren't consistently doing outbound 4 years ago. And when you started you might, and I'm making these numbers up to protect the innocent, but let's just pretend you were doing 5,000 outbound attempts a week and 10,000 inbound calls. And now that ratio is, you're handling inbound even better, and the ratio is reversed and you're doing a lot more outbound attempts than inbound calls, which with the same number of workers. But how did you get everyone to speed up? How'd you get the pace?
So one of the things that I do regularly is train my team. We analyze our outbound efforts. I'm constantly vamping up the scripts, so we change them a lot. One of the things that I like to do is record our messages so that when agents receive a voicemail, I voice record it for them so that it's much quicker. We get through them much faster. Also, the majority of my campaigns have an SMS follow-up. So if my agents do not reach the customer, they will, if they get a voicemail or the customer doesn't answer for whatever reason, it will automatically follow up with a text message for them. So guests know why we're calling. And so if they can't call us back, they can connect with us online and get their appointment on the books.
And then Renee, let's talk conversion. Because you can't just roll the ball out. We've got some new customers and they've never done outbound and they're like, hey, do you want service? Well, I can't do it right now. Click. Okay. They said no. You guys in particular, you're at the top of the heap with conversion. How do you make sure these calls convert?
Yeah, it's important. Sometimes we have to change our process to make sure that we're connecting with our customers. It's important that we're staying on top of getting through all of our first attempts to help ensure that, our contact rate is high, because we know that when we connect with them, that we're going to convert them to appointments. We have a pretty high outbound appointment conversion.
How do you train them to convert that outbound call? What process do you put a new agent through?
So we have new hire training that we put all of our agents through, and we have a new hire book that we had created that has everything, and it has objection handling, rebuttals, has everything and anything that you could possibly think of. It tells them basically what every service is, so they are well versed. People come into BDC and they have no idea about anything in service. So it's our job to train them, because if they can't talk intelligently about it, when a customer is asking them a question, then how are they going to sell the service? Right. So that's our job. We have to train them on everything. So
those were some incredible questions for Renee and Victoria. And a follow-up for you, if I may. So Renee mentioned first attempts and talking about reaching out to clients on all the different campaigns and getting that first attempt contact. But, there's some BDCs that, BDC managers may dispute, okay, is it better to go after my higher yielding campaigns and do multiple attempts, or is it better to try to do a first attempt on all campaigns? What are you seeing in some of the data that you could share with us today?
Yeah, I think Liza would know better than me. Generally, I would always go I would first start with service retention, not counting those calls that have to get done that day, from telematics to CSI to appointment confirmations. I would always start with service retention. Dealers always assume that the customer is going to come back, or I want to get the person who hasn't been in 15 months. But that answer rate on that call is about 10%. A 4-attempt service retention campaign, over the 4 attempts, you're gonna the blended contact rate is about 35%, which means you're gonna speak with about 70% of these people through those 4 attempts. And don't assume they're gonna come in anyway. Liza, what do you think?
Yeah, so I look at contact rate, just like Renee was just saying, contact rate and then conversion rate. You may have some kind of active customers who are due now, they're just coming due for service. Your second and third attempt on that segment of customers may have a higher answer rate and a higher likelihood to convert than, what Scott was just mentioning, your lost customers, people who haven't serviced in a year. So in those instances, yeah, it's more worth it to make the second, third attempt on the really active customer base than it is maybe on your lost customers. Not to say that those calls aren't worth making at all, but there are other touches that you might want to utilize on those lower converting customers. Maybe you send an email first or a text message. And if that customer engages that way, maybe now we queue them up for a phone call. So you're doing some extra qualifications.
Liza, you work with dealers all over the country, if I may add, and these ladies represent stores that, multiple stores, right? They're groups. Liza, in your experience, how do you make sure that each store sees growth each month? Any best practices there?
Yeah, as when it comes to effort or activities, right? Every store is not created equal. You kind of have to take into consideration the size of the store. So you can't say, I'm going to make X number of calls for every single store. That's not going to be fair for your big store, and your small store might get overwhelmed, right? So we tend to look at, Renee mentioned earlier, priorities. So we'll set campaigns or lists for every store, and we set them to rotate. So that way, every single store is being touched throughout the day, but we may not do it, raw numbers wise. We'll do it based on a percentage of customers that, fit that campaign for that store. So if it's a larger store, we spend more time than we would on a smaller store kind of thing. So I'm sure, these guys have, maybe that's part of their communications with service managers each month, but yeah, I wouldn't say you can do a blanket rule across all of your stores.
Victoria, what are you seeing? There's a lot of questions, I'm sure in the audience today with BDC managers and service managers watching. What would you say are the best converting campaigns that a BDC could be targeting today?
So for me, I agree with Liza. I take a lot of things into consideration. Of course, my store, but also my team. So I structure my team based on their individual capabilities. And so they are individually responsible for different campaigns. So I may put my stronger agents with different campaigns. So when I look at my campaigns, my best converting ones are going to be our connected vehicle campaigns. We have great contact rates with those, over 31% contact rates in our connected vehicle campaigns, all of them. Then we have our due for service campaigns also showing very high results, over 30%. And then we do very well with our recall campaigns as well, between 25 and 30%.
That's incredible. And Renee, what kind of results are you seeing with outbound campaigns?
Yeah, we probably convert best, obviously, with our maintenance, retention, new recall campaigns. In Pennsylvania, we have state inspections, so that always converts well for us. And it's important to do our follow-up for missed appointments because we do get them to come back in. So we don't really I don't structure our BDC agents the same way as Victoria. Our agents do call all of our campaigns equally. But I would say those are our best converting campaigns that we see.
And Liza, coming back to you, you work with so many stores across the nation, multiple brands. Are there differences in which campaigns work the best? And, perhaps at different times of year, or, what's your experience there?
Yeah. Probably in general, the campaigns that Vicki mentioned are a good rule of thumb to start with for any brand. That said, different brands run different promotions throughout the year. 100% putting those promotions right in front of your team when they're making those calls, that increases conversions. If you're not talking about those things, or, if you're in a group and holy smokes, how do I keep track of all of the different promotions for this store and that store? Maybe your stores offer some type of, loyalty program too. So having all of those incentives really easily accessible, I think that lends to higher conversion. There are definitely are certain programs and certain, call it promotions, but that are OEM specific. So knowing those and really knowing how your success is measured at the OEM level, because you are answering to your store, but you're also answering to the OEM. So knowing how you're being measured, is valuable there too.
Scott, it looks like you're chomping at the bit to get in. I know you want to.
No. These guys are pros. They know better than me. I will say we're talking outbound, but it's super important with outbound that you officially answer the phone as well on your inbound, because up to 40% of your outbound appointments come from people calling you back. So leave friendly voicemails, answer the phones, keep those drop rates 6-7%, and you'll convert more outbound customers as well.
You've told us that before. Yeah. Leave the voicemail, right? That's still the rule.
Yeah, leave it Geez, they need help. People, a lot of new agents that get trained, they're uncomfortable. They feel like they're interrupting someone, and you're always going to have someone who's crabby. So no one on this call, of course, but in general, you're going to have someone who's crabby. Just forget about it. People need help. Everyone needs their car serviced. Be friendly. 28.8% of the people came in after they told the agent no. So came in, it just wasn't the right time. So push back just a little bit to clarify and nicely, and just know you're helping them. And I swear that's the key to business nowadays, because people hate to be sold, but everyone needs to buy. So you just got to make it easy for them to buy. That's what outbound does.
Well said.
Scott and Liza, a follow-up, if I may, to what Scott just said on that. So one of the things, that a lot of BDC managers have struggled with when it comes to outbound phone calls. I'm picturing the service manager handing the BDR a Excel spreadsheet of all the names that they downloaded from some manifest somewhere, and they just say, all right, go leave a message. And there's not really any visibility to if the campaign is actually being worked correctly. So how does Volley really enable a BDC manager to have that kind of data oversight of what the reps are doing on outbound?
I'll kick it off. Yeah. I have this horror story of one of the first stores that we launched, and I was sitting with a rep and they were showing me their process, before we got started, and they had this stack of papers, and they would take a piece of paper off the top, and that was one customer. They would call, and I said, great, what happens when you get to the bottom of the stack? They said, oh, I flip it over and I start again. I was like, oh my gosh, how can you possibly know what's happening? So very true that's how a lot of our customers operate pre-Volley. I think that Volley gives you insight, a few different ways, right? So having Volley or some type of tool where you can actually track what's happening with the calls. Number one is it gives you insight to what's happening with your customers. So if you speak with a customer and you don't set an appointment, why not? What's happening? Are they going somewhere else? Do they think that your pricing is too high? Do they want to schedule on Sundays and you're not open on Sundays? If you're not keeping track of what your customers are telling you, you're not growing, you're not getting better based on what your customers are telling you that they want. And the flip side to that, right, is these guys with Vicky and Renee, they can see, based on the outcomes of these calls, maybe it's internal, maybe we need to train our team. Renee mentioned earlier the objections and training the team to rebuttals for those objections. We see that with a lot of teams that are newer to outbound, like Scott said. It's a learning curve. It can be intimidating dialing outbound. But with proper scripting, with proper training, you see that conversion increase.
Scott, you've really helped dealers see this as a science, because that's truly what it is.
Well, it's supposed to be. I mean, the most expensive part of your BDC are your people, and they're vital to what's going on. Definitely with outbound, with the current laws too. I mean, AI isn't allowed to do it, so it's not going to change anytime soon. Renee, you have a whole team now. Renee's got some advantages because she's got a big crew, but you manage those lists. You never wait for the store to send you those lists, right? You've got a team that just manages that for them, and you'd recommend that for anyone doing this, right?
Absolutely. We do have a team that puts all of our lists together for us. It's either coming directly from CDK, or we have someone who uploads it directly into Volley for all of our agents. So that way we're being proactive about reaching out to our customers. So we used to work on the pieces of paper when I first started for service BDC, and I couldn't believe how that happened. So Volley has been a game changer for us because it just, as a manager, we can manage the process, and our agents are following the process rather than calling the customers when they are choosing to call the customers. So that's huge because, we convert more appointments that way.
Well said. Very well said. Everybody, Volley is the #1 BDC engine. Outbound campaigns are among their specialties. I want to thank Victoria and Renee for being with us today. Ladies, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We hope you come back again and again and be a big part of the community. And thank you for your insights on what's happening out in the real world. And Liza, very refreshing to see the talent that these stores and that Volley has assembled as well. All right. Scott, thank you for all you do. Now, if our audience wants to learn more about Volley and how you can perhaps help them, or Scott, I know it's not unusual for people to ask questions and reach out to you. I see a phone number there. They can call or text. Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. They can go on the website. They can email me. As these ladies know, I always answer my phone every time. And I appreciate Vicky and Renee. I appreciate your generosity. If you guys ever get nearby these guys, whether it's Philadelphia, Allentown, or the Chicago area, you could learn a lot from them. And they're very generous.
Two great groups, everybody. And Volley, a great resource for the industry. And Sarah, once again, Volley comes out on top, and amazing to see what they're doing here for the industry.
Always a pleasure to have Liza, Scott, and Victoria and Renee. Welcome to the Roundtable. It's been a pleasure to hear your expertise today.
Everybody reach out to Volley for more information. Volley.com. You can reach Scott at scott@volley.com. Liza Martinson, also extremely active on social media, easy to find there, and a phone number for Scott where you could call or text. Everybody, Happy New Year, and congratulations to you. The team from Volley here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
See ya.
take you where you wanna go. Take you where you wanna go.
We're all fueled up and ready to welcome you back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable Route 66 road trip event.
We're taking the road trip across the world with CDK Global and True Video up next.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. CDK Global is with us. Kim Saylor, a great friend of the Roundtable, part of our advisory board as well at the Roundtable. And Kim, you've brought a colleague, Joe Shaker, from the Shaker Automotive Group and True Video. Kim and Joe, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, so I'll brag on Joe for just a minute. So why I love talking to him and, really having these conversations with Joe. So not only, is Joe the CEO of True Video, and CDK and True Video have a very tight partnership, but also, providing that best in class video solution and communication platform. But Joe, you really see things through a different lens because you're a dealer and not just a dealer, right? Your name's not just on the sign, but you're an active dealer. You're engaged in multiple 20 groups. You've been on multiple OEM advisory boards. So you truly have a unique perspective, which I believe is why you've been so successful at, creating the solutions and the communication platform that you have created.
Yeah, thanks. I'd like to record this and take it home to my family and let them know that someone likes me. But yeah, no, thank you so much. It's I love being here and talking about the car business with you and Ted and sharing what we've learned and some of the ideas to help all the dealers and fixed op folks that are doing the same things my team does every single day.
Yeah. So thanks, Joe, for joining us. So you and I have talked about this lots of times. And one of the things that I love talking to you about communications, besides the fact that you have this unique perspective, is that I learn things from you, from your journey, how you've made it from, A to B, B to C, and so forth. So I'm just going to ask you to share a little bit about what you see with customer communications, from when you started and where you really see it changing today.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I believe the answers always lie with the customers. So when I started this, and Kim, you've heard this story before, I just grabbed a bunch of repair orders from different dealerships and I started calling customers. And I had a really great experience. They bought 3 cars. Like, I think 75% knew the advisor by name. It went really well. And I call it the Detective Columbo, and I waited, said thank you. And then I said, hey, one last question. Did you ever have any doubts? And every single customer paused and said, you're always going to have doubts. And that really changed everything for me, because I couldn't imagine any relationship that where people have doubts, and it's never good. So the joke is, I tell people when I'm speaking, I want to die a car dealer. And in order to do that, we needed to change the customer experience. And so that was my first thought, the first learning. Built out video and messaging, tried it out with my own customers first, really wasn't thinking about starting a business, then put it into a 20 group And in that 20 group, it kind of exploded and the sales went way up, customer experience way up. The OEM started seeing multiple verbatims in the surveys showing up. And really that was like the first foray. So I was, if you think about it, you go to all these marketing conferences and everyone talks about trust and transparency, and you sit there in the audience and you're like, yeah, okay, great. Like, so how do you execute that? So I felt that we finally had come up with something to execute on trust and transparency. And I didn't realize it. I thought I was just helping people see and understand. And then every day, like, something new was happening and something new was learning. One of the big things that we learned was that we started following the data and we saw 34% of videos were being shared. We were like, wow, I'm used to following website, time on site, bounce rate, and all these analytics that they've taught us to watch in the car dealerships. And that's for some IP address. But what about somebody I know? I have their cell phone number just before, during, or after a transaction, right? At tier 4, forget about tier 3. There isn't any data for that. So we were wowed by that. And then second thing that we noticed was if 34% were sharing, then wow, there's 34% of the time, there's another decision maker involved in the transaction. And I'm either not talking to the decision maker or not talking to the co-decision maker. And our advisors are trying to explain. So that was a big aha moment. So then we said, hey, look, let's go back and let's look at the behavior today at the dealership. So we started following that, the popcorn trail there. And the best learning I had, I got to tell you, there's two key ones. This is one of the top ones. Was we started seeing the technicians were making 5 recommendations, doing a great multi-point inspection. The advisor was watering them down to 3 for 2 reasons we found. Number 1, they were afraid to tell the customer the price. And number 2, they thought the technician was overselling. And I was like, whoa, we're trying to solve trust with the customer. I didn't really think that there's a trust problem internally at the store. Either way, the 5 went to 3. The advisor then tried to verbally articulate it to a customer, who then tried to remember what was said to them and called somebody else and said, rod tie in, VC boot, every wrong phrase. It might as well have been Swahili. So we ended up fixing the communication chain. And it kind of reminded me of, telephone game as a kid. You'd say brown bear, and then by the time it was a red dog, and you'd say, how do we screw that up, right? And it was really more complex. So it was very simple. We between the video, and we went to dealers and said, look, your sales are up $60 in labor per repair order, $70, depending on which brand. Domestics were jumping higher because more repair, less maintenance, and everybody was going up. And I said, was it the video or was it fixing the communication chain where everybody got that same transparent message from the doctor, not the receptionist? And dealers said it was both. So that was the real key learning there. And because Ted's with us, I'm going to tell Ted a funny story about multi-point inspections, because he's been a trainer in this space forever plus a day. And one thing we learned about multi-point inspections is they were started 40 years ago to help recapture the customer, because 70% of customers defected after the warranty expired. Well, fast forward 40 years and 70% of customers are defecting after the warranty expired. So the multi-point inspection was fabulous for one real thing. It created a consistency in which a technician could go around the vehicle and apply the metrics of everything that's going on with the car. That's where it really, really helped us. Where it failed was articulating that to the customer or communicating their needs to the customer. So using a multi-point inspection and then communicating it with the video was the secret sauce all along. And the joke, a dealer told me this joke. He said, hey, all these years a customer came in and asked us to play him a song, and we decided to hand him the sheet music. Why don't we just play him the song? And I was like, whoa, I'm going to steal that line for sure, which I just did again. So those are some of the key learnings. And ultimately, Kim, I guess the biggest learning I ever had was that 98% of customer experience is how well or how poorly you communicate, probably 90% of revenue.
Yeah.
But software businesses and workshops and dealerships spend 98% of their time on workflows. And I never had a customer ever come up to me and say, "Hey, I had a fabulous experience at one of your stores. You got great workflows." So I think that what's really happened, and like what's cool about CDK and us, is that we've taken, you guys have 100% focus on the shop, the workflows, how things need to operate in a dealership. And then we've been able to come in with 100% innovation focus, all on communication. And communication has always been the secret. And we've never really got it right until now. We're actually meeting customers where they are. We're actually doing all these things that the marketing people throw out as punchlines. We're being transparent. So it's been a great, great journey. And I'll tell you, I've learned so much more on how to become a better dealer. The joke I say, Ted, is to the dealers when I'm talking to them is, hey, listen, don't change the way you do business. Just change the way you communicate. And that's really been the secret.
Yeah, it is.
One of the things that Ted knows, and Joe, you know, that here at CDK, we do a service shopper study every year. And, you know, basically asking, you know, like this year, we just finished up over 2,000 shoppers and asking them, you know, why, for those who chose to take their car to service for a dealership, why are they choosing the dealership? And the top reason was because of the knowledge that your staff has. And to me, that's just another advantage of sharing that video, is it's showing the technician's knowledge. That's like you just mentioned, Joe, it's the hearing from the doctor versus the receptionist, right?
Yeah, no, it's true. And, you know, the technician, it's, you know, we always go back to the old days where they go, my mechanic. You ever heard that expression? That's my mechanic. And you're like, how do you take possession of a mechanic? He's, what do you mean my mechanic, right? So it's really because they built a level of trust. And it was different walking people back in the bays. People had time on their hands.
Yes.
They didn't live in this crazy soundbite, fast-paced world. And so here's the funny thing is, like, what helped us blow wind in our sails was we just went down this path of video and messaging, and I'm not going to say customer behavior, but human behavior changed, right? People started, 8 billion videos are watched every day just on Facebook. If I count TikTok, YouTube, I mean, the number is mind-boggling. I think it's, you could check the stats on how many hours a day people watch video. So human behavior is, I want to consume information in that fashion. Customers also started really working asynchronously on texts, right? And texting is very, very important. And I'm going to give you an example of human behavior here. So if I have you on hold for 1 minute and 30 seconds, it feels like an eternity, because most people multitask today. Some people hypertask, really, but they multitask. And so it seems like 1 minute, 30 seconds is forever. I'm being held hostage here. It's not a great experience. But I can message you back in 6 minutes, which is 400% longer. And you're going to pick up your phone and go, oh, great, they just got back to me. So I'm going to take longer to get back to you, and you're going to love it. And really, that's the real key with messaging, is that people understand there are gaps in times. There's no holding. There's no waiting. There's not 6 people at once trying to, which are all the problems that happen in telephony, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So the customer and human behavior changed, and that blew wind in our sails. And it just so happened to be the best way to deliver transparency in these personalized services, right? Is there any, you know, we'll talk about AI, but is there anything more personal than getting a video from the technician on your car and on the amount of money you're going to spend? And then with AI later, as we touch on how that's affected the space, it gets even more personal by being able to text and message back in someone's own language. So those are things that are really changed. And I view this as, if we change the way we communicate, we can really, it's transforming the business. You look at the top OEMs that are doing 70-75% video because it's a requirement in their programs, behind the line sort of programs. Those are the ones that you can see go from number 11 to number 3 in 1 year on JD Powers. And then the next year go from 3 to number 2. And you can look up the, you know, those stats and find out who's the best at video right now. And everybody's starting to chase that.
Yeah. And Joe, you're right. Video is everywhere in our lives today, and people trust the technician. And I recall, I'm old enough to remember when we would walk the customer back into the shop and, look under the hood with the tech, and the tech would advise them. But now you've brought it all together with the communication component and using what we all have in our hands, the phone. And, you've really made the trust a big part of the process, and the communication and the ability to approve the repairs.
I think we got lucky, really. The stars all aligned for us. I'd like to think I'm that smart, which I'm not, but I think the stars aligned for us when we just tried to do the right thing. And every time we walked down the path, another thing unfolded. And, you know, like I said, we'll talk a little bit about that stuff as well. But it's been a great journey, and it's really letting customers know how valued these techs are. It's providing them the connections, the personalization, the trust, and, you know, the real time, you know, communication back at their leisure. Asynchronous, I say, is at your leisure communication. And it's actually made the world efficient. I mean, our first 7 million videos, there was 34% shares, which I told you, but the average response time from a customer was 2 minutes, 37 seconds after a video. So response time is huge because, you know, waiting is a big deal. Our shops have to keep moving back there.
That's right. Right. And can't take the car out of the bay and bring it back in. That's not efficient at all. And it respects the technician's time too, which is the most valuable asset you're selling there.
Yeah. So much time is wasted taking stuff off the lift. And, you know, when Kim talks about, you know, we talk about AI, one of the big things that's helped with that is transcriptions, right? And subtitles. So someone could be in a meeting and read what's going on with their car, approve it. Now, normally before any of the video or transcriptions or any of that, I'd have to wait 1 hour, hour and a half for that customer to get out of one of their meetings. By that time, we had taken the thing off the lift, brought it to the parking lot, sat in the parking lot. Then I got to bring it back on the lift. I had another customer's car that I had to move in. Like, the amount of time being wasted for our team members was incredible. So the efficiencies, and that's another thing that was another learning. You know, we want to do transcriptions so that we're ADA compliant, and so that, you know, now our transcriptions have different languages. It's like Netflix. You can have someone speaking in English and have it come across in Spanish at the bottom. So there's so many great ways to communicate.
So Joe, you've talked about AI a couple times, and I've heard you say before that artificial intelligence can make the customer experience more human, right? So that doesn't make sense to me. So share with me, like, what do you mean by that? Like, how does it make it more fun?
I that's kind of a funny thing, because my knee-jerk reaction, and most people's, is I would rather just deal with a person, right? And then what I will do is that's my knee-jerk reaction. So I'm, you know, a consummate learner. I'm trying to figure stuff out. So then I start listening to all the phone calls going into dealerships. So in my quest to have that human experience, I'm listening to people on hold for 3 minutes. I'm seeing people get disconnected. I'm seeing people get transferred in the wrong place. I'm watching people fumble around trying to make appointments. And literally, you know, our AI suite, when you type, "Yep, come grab the car," it changes it to, when you press send, it says, "Here's what you said. Yup, come grab the car." And it says, "Yes, the car will be ready. Looking forward to seeing you." And people click on the professional version. And, you know, I've read the texts before they've been corrected. That's just not being more human, right? So I think that AI's big journey is going to be the human assist.
Good point.
And so it's really going to be the human assist. So when you really look at how things work today, the good example was when we do when you call in using, like, if your CDK Ava product, you know, which we're involved in, Ava can answer 15 calls at the same time. It can do it in 52 languages, right? Or, you know, whatever settings that we have set up, it can make an appointment. It can send, you know, back the, you know, your appointment confirmation. It can do all of that. And there isn't, like, the humanness behind it, where 50 calls came in at once, the old Murphy's Law thing, or somebody's on the desk, or I'm on the phone and you're a customer waiting to speak with me, and just staring at me on the phone is making you annoyed, right? So these are all things that people say, I want to deal with the human. But when you actually start dealing with the human, Mike, the question I always ask when I'm doing these speaking engagements is, do you really want to deal with a human? Right? Do you really? Let me give you a few examples. So at the end of the day, that's sort of, you know, the big joke. So when even whether it's a phone, whether it's messaging back and forth with the bot, which is will be available, with your Ava, people can communicate how they want to communicate, get things done. You're never going to be put on hold. You're there 24/7, and that's just one example. One great example I'm going to give you is, we have a dealer in California who has a service advisor named Daisy. And Daisy is one of the best service advisors in that brand in California. So Daisy was using when she typed back, she would use the suggested 90% of the time. And I asked Daisy, I said, why do you use it? You're like one of the best. And she said, well, I'm great at building rapport with customers. I'm great at making friends, getting out from behind the desk, walking around their car, but I struggle with grammar. So every time I respond back to the customer, I always use that, but I also read it. And I get to learn every single time what would be a more professional way to say something. So I'm not only providing that service to the customer and filling in a gap that I have personally, but I'm also learning from it at the same time. So these are the things where AI, that's a perfect example of an assist.
Right.
And Daisy's one of the best advisors in her game, and she's there. This is my weak spot, and it's my kryptonite, and this is helping me, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
So,
and Joe, techs and advisors both need that assist because they're not the most eloquent at writing things up all the time and keeping you compliant as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, you think about that, right? You think about those people that are really smart and they have a problem communicating. Look at a technician that tears apart a Ford transmission and puts it back together. You're going to have that skill and be like a fabulous orator. I mean, just like it's those, this person is magical, putting it together like a Swiss watch. And then at the same time, you're expecting them to be, super eloquent. It's not. Everybody has their skills and stuff. And AI really has jumped in along the lines of helping people be more professional, helping fill in the gaps. And I think we've been doing that for 2 years. We've had that in store for 2 years, and it's the feedback is phenomenal. And there's other parts of it that we can discuss as well, like the sentiment and stuff. But Kim, that's why I make that joke about it's really to twist on words. Artificial can be more human, and that's kind of why we say it.
Well, you mentioned Ava, which is our partnership for the AI virtual assistant, so for scheduling appointments. And I talked to one of our mutual customers, Rick Masenko, and one of the things that he mentioned, which was kind of what you said, is that, I asked him, why did you start using a virtual assistant? Because I think dealers could be hesitant, their customers want to speak to a human, just like what you said, Joe. And he said he realized his best BDC agent or best receptionist can only take one call at a time, right? So, no matter how good they are, they can't take more than one call. And, going back to that service shopper study, our customers said they waited on hold an average of 8 minutes, which I can't even imagine, waiting that long.
Yeah. So what you do is, and I've had conversations with a bunch of dealers about this, and they start talking to me about, oh, well, this is the way it is. And I go, time out. Before you do that, let's go listen to some of the calls at the store, because the employees are running around trying to serve people, doing a great job. They're not being lackadaisical, avoiding calls. It's like I said, something as simple as me on the phone with you, and then Ted waiting to talk to me and annoyed that I'm not finished up with the call. I'm trying to serve you, and at the same time, I'm not serving Ted. So there's all these weird situations. And yeah, Kevin, who's a great dealer that you were talking about, he just gets it. And he knows, right now, the way we do bots will change. It won't just be telephony, like I said, but what he knows is it's going to start off at 30% or 25, then 30, then 35. And over time, it's going to be 60, 70 people. The adoption rate on that is going to be huge because AI is just way better. It's not like 5 years ago where you're following down a decision tree. Say yes, you go here. Yeah. Right. These are fully conversational models now. They're very specific to the auto industry, sort of like a small language model, which is called an SLM. Everybody will start talking about those, because no one calls the dealership and says, hey, what's the fastest land animal? And I go, the cheetah. Now, what time do you want to come in? We don't need the information on the cheetah, right? We need more information that has to do with the cars. So, and you know what I liken it to? I was telling a story one time about how I got my wife a mobile device where she could text, 15 years ago, however long that when we all started to get into that. And she was like, what do I need to text for? And I said, well, if you need me, just text me before calling, because then I don't want to just keep sending it to voicemail. And so she goes, all right. So she started using it, right? Fast forward to today. She doesn't get off her texting. So regular people are on text, her kids are on Snap, and her cousin from Italy is on WhatsApp. Like, she even has it segmented. So back then she couldn't even get her head around messaging and texting. And today I can't get her off of texting and messaging, right? So that is what you're going to notice with the AI, and customers are going to adopt it. Someone's going to go like this, transfer, and they're going to go transfer right to a human. They're going to be on hold for 3 minutes, and they're going to call back and go, I want to talk to Ava, right? So that is what you're going to notice over time, like we've done with streaming music, right? And stuff like that. So it's all adoption.
So Joe, True Video created by a dealer for dealers, okay, and now part of the CDK suite, Ava. Kim, this is growing and getting better and better. And Joe, congratulations to you on all the success you're having and all the things that you're seeing, and how this can get even better for dealers and for customers along the way, as you said.
Well, I appreciate it. The real secret is to change the business, right? Our goal is to get out there and, look, if you look at car dealerships today, they all are branded now. So our French fries all look the same, but our French fries don't taste the same. So if we can start providing these fabulous experiences with customers, we can, preserve our right to be retailers and servicing our customers because we're providing the best experiences. And I think dealers have adapted. You've seen it over years and years and years, and just things that I do and other dealers that are into technology and that partner with CDK and others, but that are just innovative, is to change the paradigm on customer experience at car dealerships. And that's my goal. That's why I'm in this thing.
Well, congratulations to both of you on that, and much success ahead. Joe Shaker from the Shaker Automotive Group and True Video, Kim Saylor with CDK Global. And thank you both for all you do for the industry, and thank you for everything you do. Joe Shaker, everybody, and Kim Saylor with us here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
CDK has been a partner in us being successful. The ability to talk with them and tell them what we need and what we're trying to do and accomplish has been a huge value for us.
One of the biggest things is getting the customer to come back. What makes them come back in the second time? It's the service advisor, it's the test equipment, it's the processes, it's the fixed ops suite. Our ASRs have increased from about 20% ASR approval rate to about 32%. We had 37% year over year customer pay RO growth. We were one of the fastest growing in our group.
It takes partners like CDK for us to continue to evolve.
They know our business inside and out, and they give us solutions within the fixed ops suite to let us just do our job and let us do it easily and right.
We want to make it so that every automotive dealer can use AI natively and effectively to enhance the abilities of your employees to do their job. When we look at the ROI, one of the things that we know is that if you can communicate to a customer on a missed phone call in 15 minutes or less, that drives up profitability and customer satisfaction. So not only does our AI engage that customer on a missed phone call, it also creates a workflow for the employees to get back to the customers with predictive intelligence about what they need to provide to the customer to handle the situation as it arises.
Learn all about easy payment options on the go with the DealerPay panel.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I am Ted Ings with Sarah Van Tyne. We are here at Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, Florida, with some great colleagues and friends and leaders in the industry. I'm here with Ed Roberts, also Julie Douglas, President and Sales Lady Extraordinaire of DealerPay, and Jeremy, our great friend from Bozard as well. And Sarah, we have leaders in the industry in mobile and payments.
This is an exciting opportunity to ask these questions, Ted. I'm so looking forward to discussing payment and then also the mobile service aspects.
Julie, if I can, welcome to Bozard.
Thank you.
And kind of frame it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing at DealerPay, what you do, and some of the things that you've just recently announced.
Sure. So DealerPay is a modern payments solution that's designed just for dealers, allowing them to take multiple payments in all their departments. And I'm proud to be here. I'm thankful to be here. And we have just launched our DealerPay Moves mobile solution. So kind of fits nicely here.
So we've got the leader in the industry in dealer-specific payments and the leaders in mobile service. Ed Roberts, some of your thoughts on mobile.
Well, mobile is meeting customers on their terms, and we have took care of customers here at the store for decades, but not necessarily in field. That's fairly new to us. So to be able to go out and still be able to process all those transactions in field as seamless as we do it in field or at the store is what it's about. And having a mobile solution where we can take payment in field and not have to worry about calling a customer back afterwards, because it's all about giving them their time back. And if we continue to harass them for hours after we're gone to close out whatever those elements are, then we haven't really benefited the customer.
And you've put some tremendous people in place to make this mobile operation work. One of them is Jeremy Stevens. Tell us a little bit about that and how that came about.
So we looked to expand mobile immensely. We started looking to expand early last year, and then we put a plan together, and then about middle of the year we started really looking hard for the person that could take that deal forward. And the harder we looked, the clearer it became that Jeremy Stevens was absolutely the right one to take us forward with what we wanted to do with mobile operations.
Jeremy, big shoes to fill.
Yeah, actually, it makes me feel good because I've been here a year now. So for him to still say that, that's actually impressive. So I feel good.
Well, Ed, I mean, we know that the customers are loving mobile service because your fleet continues to expand. But what benefits does the dealership see in offering this option?
Well, you guys heard from Letti and Bo earlier, and it's about looking at it through the ownership experience lens. And when we look at it through the customer's lens, then we see the pains that they go through, and it's an inconvenience to have to reschedule their day, take time off of work to come in for service for something that's routine. And if we can go to them and take care of those things on their terms, then they never have to disrupt their day. And that ownership experience continues to enhance. So when you enhance the ownership experience, it creates an unparalleled loyalty to the brand.
And Jeremy, is this just the service department that's seeing the benefits from this, or are there other departments that are being included in this mobile offering?
It really includes everything, because one thing that we have noticed, take recalls for an example. We take a lot of recalls out of our main shop, and that makes our technicians more efficient, and it actually helps us out on our side. And it still blows my mind how we still go to customers' places, and they're still like, wow, you come here for service. And it just seems like we've been doing this for a while now, but from our customer side, they're still shocked that dealerships would even do this. So it's pretty cool to see that.
Jeremy, one of the things I've learned from Julie Douglas is that what the customer remembers most is one of the last steps in the process is accepting that payment, okay? And Julie, mobile is now becoming a big and bigger part of what you do at DealerPay.
Absolutely, because just like you said, offering it on their terms, you also want to give your customers options for their payment type, their tender type. And having it there at the end of the experience to simply make that payment in person is just kind of closing the loop. So good CSI scores come from all those things.
And I'll tie in on that because it's a transparency element as well. Nobody likes to give their credit card number out over the phone, so having to call them back and handle those things over the phone is not because they're concerned, are we writing it down on something, or how we're going to dispose of that? All those elements, what are we really doing with that? But when we can close the transaction right there in front of them, then it's transparent.
It is wild how because I hate when I have to pull my credit card out right now, because it's like it has evolved into, from cash to credit cards. And now I get frustrated because I have to go find my credit card and tap it. I'm so used to Apple Pay or on your phone stuff now. So it's pretty cool how technology is changing to that and make it more convenient for our customers.
And also the concept of security. I mean, we live in a land of fraud right now, and having the option to make a secure payment, not just for the dealership, but for the customer itself, is pretty key right now.
I like that. This mobile ad is not going away. It's growing and growing. And a lot of folks around the country are following you and Jeremy and the lead that you've set here. What inspired you to get on the mobile bandwagon so early?
When you look at it through a customer's lens, that's what they're used to. They're used to pulling up their phone, pulling up whatever they're looking for on Amazon, and it's showing up on their doorstep that day or maybe the next day. And that's what's convenient to them. They could go to the local store and get it right now, but it's more convenient for them to wait for it to show up on their doorstep. So when we can show up on the doorstep, that's what our customers are already looking for. And when we can do that, then we make it seamless for them.
Julie, it would seem that the mobile payment falls right into that with the Amazon concept of being able to pay on my phone, and Julie, giving the customer multiple options on how to pay.
Yeah, so not just credit cards. I mean, obviously credit and debit are your most popular, but even the option to take a check or even cash and have the ability for it to be receipted. So we're making sure the money's obviously come back to the dealership as well. So, with lots of options out there, it just creates a better experience for the customer, in my opinion.
Jeremy, your mobile team has to have so many things, that they're, not just have in stock on the vehicle. And I imagine you have different trucks for different applications now as well, and that's continuing to grow. But, payments is one of them, and being able to accept that, as Julie said, securely as well for the customer and transparently.
Oh yeah, it does, because it kind of matches the whole mobile experience. Because if we don't have like what we were talking about, the ending done, it's like it kind of messes up the whole transaction when you have to call back and try to get that number, and then it's already too late. You kind of ruin that experience on that side.
Well, Ed, and as Jeremy is talking about all the logistics that go into getting the mobile service van equipped to go out to the customer, a lot of dealerships are struggling to figure out, what technologies really work. Does my DMS, my CRM, and all these pieces integrate? So what systems do you use at Bozard Ford Lincoln to manage, the drivers or manage the deliveries and coordinate all those logistics?
Well, we use several systems ties together, and ultimately we want one platform, but we are working with some companies to create one platform to be able to do that. We're doing that with Spiffy. We do some things with BizzyCar. We do things with various different companies to create a seamless experience for the customer. But we really would like to have it with the one platform to where I can look at it and I can see where my driver is. Would also use the vehicle data that tells us what's going on with it, so we can send the right vehicle with the right parts out there and the right technician that can diagnose and repair that repair. And then another thing for the audience always has a tough time of what can we do in field. And we think that it's oil changes and we think that it's tire rotations. Walk through your shop, and anything that's being done in your shop that's not on a lift, that whether it's software updates or whatever, you'll find that about 60% of the work that's being done in your shops does not need a lift. And if it doesn't need a lift, you can do it in field. And there's some things that does need a lift in your shop that can still be done in field. But that gives you the broader picture of what can be done in field, and then really start to work to meet customers on their terms.
And Jeremy, from your perspective, you're really seeing the front lines of what the technicians are experiencing and what the customers are experiencing too. Are there any missing pieces in the process that could assist in streamlining the transaction from start to finish?
So just kind of echo what Ed, it's that one software platform, because right now our guys are probably bouncing in and out of 3 or 4 different softwares, and it's confusing, not just for the technician, but everybody that's involved with it, because we always think it's just a technician. It's like, no, it's the communication center, it's the technician, the service advisor, and most important, the parts people, because parts have to work in the future, because we have to get these trucks launched that morning at 7 o'clock, so they're working a day ahead of time. So everybody in that one software would be tremendous. That'll be the game changer.
And I'll touch on that for the audience. As Jeremy said, that the parts has to work in the future. In all of our shops, the technician pulls the vehicle in and then orders what he needs, whether it's through software or goes to the parts department and then comes back with it. for us with mobile, we have to send the technician out with the things that we know he's going to need. And some of us educated guess. And sometimes we oversaturate them with what they could need, and then they come back with the difference. But that's looking into that crystal ball and saying, we're prepared.
And Julie, I imagine there's a lot of dealers that you're speaking with that are looking at their payment processes, and a lot of dealerships are doing still very manual processes and incorporating cashiers or other methods of payment in that transaction. Are there manual steps that you see when you advise a dealership that can be really automated in this experience?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of it has to do with integration to a DMS. So a lot of dealers are still using standalone terminals with a cashier. And though that, has been working for them for, probably decades, there's just faster and easier ways to do it. And I think, not only does that increase efficiencies, it makes the process smooth. So, the concept of improving technology for some dealers can be scary, but at the same time, it can really make a difference, and not just with the efficiency of the dealership, but also, again, that customer experience.
Julie, a lot of folks who watch the Fixed Ops Roundtable, including today, watch because they're just now getting into mobile service. They have some questions, or maybe they've been in for a short time and they want to follow Ed and Jeremy's lead. What is the component that they need to be aware of on the payment side to add to that mobile solution that DealerPay can help deliver for them?
Sure. So just a little bit on our new mobile solution. We're calling it DealerPay Moves. It gives the driver, in that case, the ability to collect that payment after the service work is complete. And again, all those transaction or tender types that they prefer, and it closes the loop. So, you're then capturing a signature, not just on the payment, but of course on the RO, which we store those records long term. So even if there's challenges down the road for the dealership with chargebacks or disputes, we're able to provide, that actual signed documentation for their records.
And I would imagine there are different things that could be automated. You alluded to some of the things that dealers have now been using for years and years. Technology has changed, and there's a lot of new ways to pay for things. And it really, shows not just the transparency, but the fact that the dealership is up to date.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's very key to have these modern options. You had mentioned tapping, Apple Pay, Venmo, but even just, being able to use whatever method that they can in some cases. So, dealers really just need to have those options to give their customers that comfort level with how they want to pay.
Oh, Ed, what else should we be aware of on a mobile side?
Well, on the mobile side, we can think that, that works for them, but it doesn't work for us. It will work. You just have to choose to allow it to work, and they'll give you two things. One, start with a break-even. Figure out what your break-even needs to be for it to make it work, and then go backwards from there. You'll learn that it's not as much as you think it is to make it break-even, and then start out running that. And then secondly, we all chase customer satisfaction. And Jeremy and his team often service over 100 customers a day in field, and it is not uncommon to have perfect CSI for the month in mobile, and not many of us can say that in any department of any of our stores. So those are the things that you have to look at when you decide, should I be in mobile or should I do something different? And I think the answer is yes, but you have to answer that for yourself.
And Julie, DealerPay, do you integrate and how do you integrate for dealers, with a DMS and so on?
Sure. So we have the ability to pull real time the transaction data from an RO, a parts ticket, and even a deal for a deposit or down payment. So our goal is to provide this solution in all of the departments and bring it into one system for better accounting. Obviously, at the end of the day, we always talk about accounting, but anyways, it does make the process smooth, and these integrations really do help to sort of close the loop.
And this modern payment solution now is expanding to mobile in 2025. I hear a lot of dealers talking about, let's get everything under one platform, and rather than doing multiple different platforms. That's the kind of thing that you at DealerPay can help with, isn't it?
Absolutely, you bet. We have a fully modern point of sale system designed just for dealers.
Ed, bring it home. Any last thoughts going into the new year with mobile?
Well, it's about challenging your team. Don't get stuck in the status quo and do the same thing that you've done for the last 10 years. look out and see what your opportunities are, and then get your team to buy into those opportunities and go chase them. And when you do, everyone wins, including our customers.
Everybody, I'm Ted Ings. I'm here with Sarah Van Tine. We're here with the leaders in mobile service and modern dealer pay solutions. Bozard Ford Lincoln, Ed Roberts, Jeremy Stevens, Julie Douglas with DealerPay. Thank you all for what you do for the industry. Congratulations to all the success that you're having. And Julie, looking forward to hearing great things about DealerPay.
Thank
the end of the
you.
year.
Appreciate your time. Absolutely.
Thank you. All right. Sarah and I will be right back.
Clear.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, how would you like to pay? Card, cash, or check?
I will do a card.
Okay, thank you very much. And will you sign right here?
Sure.
Okay, have a great day.
Great, thank you.
Introducing DealerPay Moves, DealerPay's new mobile application for dealerships on the move. It's really great because all you have to do is search for your repair order. It's then going to search whichever DMS that the dealership is connected to. As you can see, it's going to pull up that customer record in that open repair order. I'm simply going to select it. Now you've got all your customer details here, including the surcharge amount if it were to be applied with a credit card. I've got options to pay by credit debit. I can key enter the transaction. I can use a paper check or even report cash. I can even add transactions in here so I can do some real-time voids and refunds. DealerPay Moves is a great solution for your dealership to stay relevant and mobile.
BG Experience provides a window into today's vehicle systems, including the engine, brake, driveline, and cooling system. You will learn about how each system functions, the challenges they face, and BG Products' preventative maintenance solutions to these challenges. BG Experience is used by automotive trade schools and service centers to educate students, technicians, and service advisors. The ability to see how individual components of complex vehicle systems interact in motion provides a more visceral understanding than older training methods. We partner with over 50,000 shops and service centers around the globe. BG Experience is an essential tool to engage and educate automotive professionals worldwide.
Stop in at the drive-in with us as we serve up our next speaker, Ewart Anderson from Velo.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Sarah Van Tine here with Ted Ings and Ewart Anderson. We are so excited to learn more about what DealerLogix is doing today. Ted, we've got a really full panel with Ewart.
That's right. Great honor to have Ewart Anderson, Executive Vice President of Velo, which includes several huge brands. Sarah, you mentioned DealerLogix, also Text to Drive, and many others. Ewart, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks so much, Sarah and Ted. Glad to be here. Excited.
And it was great to meet you and see you in person just last month at the Bozard pop-up event. And I don't know about you, but we had a lot of fun there.
Yeah, I did too. I thought the Bozard team showed up just so well. That's an impressive operation. And you guys and your team, showed up well as well. Great partners there on site. So it was an awesome event. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, you're a big part of it. And congratulations to you. Velo's making great inroads and great strides. What a fantastic time you were to be doing this in automotive.
It is. It's an interesting evolution kind of milestone for the industry, right? You've got a whole different landscape today that dealers are battling against than what they dealt with, call it pre-COVID. timeframes. So, and maybe even post-COVID, like, 1 year after the pandemic. So yeah, it's a really exciting time to offer dealers new solutions to help them solve problems.
When we were at Bozard, we were talking a lot about the opportunities that are in the service drive. And I want to come back to one of the exciting pieces that Velo offers, which is their DealerLogix Service Suite Pro. Can you set the stage and tell us a little bit about the opportunities there?
Sure. So I'll take a step back and explain maybe what DealerLogix Service Suite Pro is to begin with. That might be helpful. So DealerLogix Service Suite Pro is our attempt to offer dealers something that brings two of our market leading products together into one unified experience, one solution. Those two market leading products are Text to Drive and DealerLogix. So Text to Drive in particular has been around for roughly almost 20 years and has been serving the dealership space for quite some time successfully. Between the two products, we're in well over 2,500 dealers. Franchise dealers specifically, so that excludes any independent engagement. And we've had really, really strong success with those two solutions individually. Well, we thought, based on dealer feedback, why not bring them together since they both touch the customer in the service experience? So our focus at Velo is optimizing the service experience for both dealers and their consumers. And we felt that one of the best ways we could do that, actually probably the number one way we could do that across all 5 products, was bring those products together in a unified experience, so that not only are our customers engaging with the dealer in the service lane, but even before they get there for service, when they purchase the vehicle, Text to Drive's very, very engaged retention model and automation allows for a dealer to actively interact with the customer without any manual lift. And to retain that customer, particularly post-warranty timeframe, is really difficult, right? The attrition of a customer out of a dealership in the service space is very high as it relates to post-warranty timeframe. So adding Text to Drive's high, white glove customer touch engagement tool and automation, along with a market-leading payments option to bookend what is DealerLogix today core, and that's the workflow management and calendaring mechanisms for a consumer to set and attend service appointments. That bringing that together was a move that we were just really excited about. And frankly, we had enough dealers on both products, just pleading with us to do something like that. So we did it. We answered the call, and we've picked up many other dealers and some OEM certifications along the way.
Those products work, like you said, very well together. Text to Drive and DealerLogix. Tell us a little bit more about how they create efficiencies for dealerships, especially in this era that we're going into now, that's focused on fixed operations.
Sure. There's probably a long-winded answer to that, Ted, but I'll give you the three-pronged short answer. I'll give you the three-pronged answer. So number one, the automation within Text to Drive, going back to that point, allows a dealer to not have a lot of time invested from an employee perspective and effort invested chasing customers down to get them back in the service lane, notify them of warranty alerts, help them with recall alerts as well, making sure that they're aware of what's happening with their vehicle when it's in the service lane. All of that's automated. So from an efficiency perspective, it just allows the dealer to spend the time on what's important. And that's making sure the car is repaired correctly and effectively, and also making sure the customer is always in the know and has a high degree of trust without a lot of manual effort. So the second part of that optimization and efficiency happens in the service lane. So it allows a customer, DealerLogix's scheduler particularly, allows a customer to set up a scheduled event and show up on site, knowing that there will be the appropriate level of technician, right? Because every job's not made equal. An oil change is not typically done by the person who does a transmission overhaul. So making sure that on the back end, a dealer's shop loading availability is already pre-populated in DealerLogix's scheduler allows a consumer to just pick the right times, show up, and their job's going to get done. Like the right people will be there to do that job. And availability will align to that. So now a dealer's not on their heels when a customer shows up with a job that doesn't fit what they have available. And then the final piece, the third piece, is during the repair order process, being able to provide through DealerLogix visibility to the service manager, to the technician, parts manager, and the advisor all seamlessly about where a repair order is in any particular moment. That's something that these days, frankly, is expected to be table stakes. And we have to make sure that we provide that. So I wouldn't, in all transparency, I wouldn't say that that is something that separates us from competitors, but I will say that all competitors, including us, are accountable to deliver that to dealers. Like, dealers expect a very clear workflow management, a level of visibility. Between those three things, we're able to really optimize how a dealer does business. And the parts that matter most, you heard on the first two, it's really optimizing the dealer's engagement with the customer and making that as automated and as simple as possible for both sides. That allows a dealer to focus on what's important.
Your data is such an important part of this entire equation, and you touched on a lot of different points in the customer process that dealers really need to be paying attention to. So could you talk to us a little bit too about Service Suite Pro and the types of insights that you help dealers monitor?
Sure. A few things come to mind, but maybe one good example, jumps out to me. So I think the insights around a repair order, like overall repair order value, on average per order at any particular dealership, particularly for enterprise groups, to be able to see that across all of their dealerships. That's really important for dealers from a profitability perspective. At the end of the day, like, that's the bottom line, right? That's what dealers are struggling with most, is how do they maximize their profit? Generating revenue on new cars kind of is what it is. There's to some degree, there's limited control of a dealer to own that. But how they generate revenue with both used car sales and used car reconditioning / service, that's where they can really, make or break their business. And a lot of dealers are making their business that way. And it's awesome to see. One of the biggest insights in that process is understanding what's the repair order turn cycle, right? So whether it's a reconditioning repair order, which is kind of owned by Rapid Recon today in our business, whether it's that that side of the business, or if it's a customer pay or a warranty related repair order, either way, making sure that those repair orders are performed effectively and optimally is really key in value, right? Every hour spent above designated time allotted on a repair order is cost. So being able to provide dealers and enterprise group level reporting around that cost and offering insights through our performance management team and our customer success team engagements with those dealers on suggestions about how they improve those cost structures, those types of actionable insights are really powerful for dealers. Outside of that, I say that's the most direct answer. Outside of that, there's a myriad of reporting tools that we proactively offer to dealers to point out areas of opportunity, whether it's scheduled no-show ratios and what's going on there with consumers not showing up after confirming scheduling, or if it's, fraudulent payments happening in a mobile pay scenario or on-site scenario through our text to drive payments engine. Either way, there's lots of reporting there, but that repair order turn is the biggest number on the docket today.
And Ewart, if I may, these all add up to profitability for the dealer. It helps the bottom line. Not only do you have these great engagement tools that create efficiencies, but are also good for the customer as well. But you just mentioned that payment piece, because you really figured it out, that a big part of it is to streamline the way the customer pays for the service. We saw a little bit of that at Bozard. They've got a lot of mobility, but you look at the mobility throughout the process, the customer can pay from almost anywhere. Speak to us about that, because that is very different.
Sure. There are several points of engagement as it relates to payments that are really key for a consumer and a dealer. One of them, to your point, Ted, is the mobile pay option. So when a mobile unit's coming out to repair Ewart's car at his house, and Ewart being able to feel comfortable paying for that repair and knowing that the compliance, the thought of Ewart's personal information, all of those things are taken into account as to how Ewart pays is really important, and it builds trust, right? So being able to create that credibility on site is key, and we offer that opportunity. We have plenty of dealers that use our platform for mobile pay. The others that we haven't touched on relate to card present or card not present in store, right? So that's Ewart showed up at Tedding's GMC, and Ewart's gonna get his car repaired, and Ted's team is doing that. Ted's team send Ewart a text to submit payment. Ewart does that via his mobile device while he's on site, in the waiting room, or he does it while he's at the job to come pick up his car. Either way, we're able to power that process with the same fraudulent, protection mechanisms in place. We can also do the same with card present as well. If you wants to swipe his card at Ted Ings GMC, for example. And then finally, we do offer dealers the opportunity for those dealers that are interested and in regions where it makes the most sense. We offer them the opportunity to offer surcharging. So surcharging is a big hot topic these days. There are regions that are kind of anti-surcharging. There are some regions that are very pro surcharging. So it kind of depends on the state compliance elements, which we are experts at, and we do have a strong presence here from a payments engine perspective to make sure that we're setting up dealers the right way for success. But being able to offer those 3 or 4 elements to a dealer: mobile, card present, card not present, surcharging options, really, really key.
You are being competitive in this industry. I mean, we're seeing so much competition, not really from just the local dealership competition, but also, independent places that are offering convenient service, as we talked about, mobile service and coming out to your house. I mean, it sounds like all of these pieces together, you're talking about, really impacting the customer with the digital MPI, texting, and then also the payment piece. So how does this really help that customer experience be elevated?
Sure. So being able to have a high degree of trust with someone who's touching one of the most important things to a consumer is paramount, right? One of the most important things to a consumer is their mode of transportation. They got their families in there, right? We all put our kiddos and our significant others in our cars, and we caravan around, hoping that everything is repaired, optimally, and that also we're not being gouged along the way, right? So our one of the outcomes of what we do kind of has two components. One is from a payments perspective, specifically to address that part of your question, Sarah. We're able to basically offer a consumer an experience that is very similar to what they experience every day shopping on Amazon or any other website. It's a highly compliant driven, locked down, encrypted method of submitting a payment and getting all of the same things that they would expect to see from a highly engaged dealer in service, including an MPVI, video of what's wrong with their vehicle to build trust, pictures and images, and maybe even voiceover from a technician or an advisor to explain what's being done and what's being approved, a fully vetted approval process during the work order so that no repairs are charged that the customer didn't approve in the first place. Those elements are a lot more high touch and white glove than what a customer will experience typically in an independent shop or just a general, service shop. So that's a big differentiator between what we offer and what a customer might experience with a dealer, with a highly optimized dealer in general. But the other part that comes to mind that we haven't talked about yet, that's probably relevant to one of the points you made, Sarah, is the OEM engagement. So the OEM engagement at a dealer level is going to be a lot more heightened and intentional than it would be at any particular shop, right? So we were recently recertified with Audi on DealerLogix and Text to Drive. Specifically, we've also been one of the market leaders with Nissan with DealerLogix and Text to Drive for quite some time. Actually, DealerLogix originally started very focused on Nissan. So many years ago, well over a decade ago. So we've got a great presence with Nissan and Infiniti. And then we've also been added as we're the newest add actually to the 3 Synergy SLT or Service Lane Technology program for GM as of toward the middle end of last year, and we've been rolling strong there. We're actively engaged with GM dealers across the nation. We've already got a very substantial presence within the GM base as well. So having those relationships allow us to offer customers a level of technical expertise and understanding that ties to their car's well-being differently than what potentially an independent or a shop might offer as well. And those things do help us with credibility with consumers as well.
Our industry has come such a long way in the last 5, 10, 15 years. This technology is now expected by consumers, I would believe. And I imagine the inquiries and the questions that you'll get from dealers later this week at NADA and throughout the year are probably different than they were a few years ago. Do you still get any pushback from dealers about technology, or is it just, which technology that they prefer to have at their dealership?
Great question. I feel like you just set me up there. So, so the short answer is absolutely we get pushback. I think we're still in that space where dealers are battling with another challenge that's near and dear to to the automotive industry's heart, and that's talent. As it relates to service talent specifically, you've got kind of this paradigm today where there's this new regime, so to speak, of talented professionals that are coming in from schools that have really focused on automotive specific curriculum and are driving some of those types of engagements. Some of those schools you guys have been actively engaged with, which is super impressive. And you see that wave of talent coming in, and they're very tech savvy, very, very tech savvy. Alternatively, you've got some legacy talent that's out there that are highly credible, very, very skilled in what they do, but may not be as tech oriented and may not be as leaned toward learning the tech, right? So I think those things are coming together in a bit of a clash today. I will say though, Ted, to your question, where you see dealers being the most profitable, they have figured out a way to create adoption in the service lane of technology. And typically what I see the best do, they bring their talented teams in to help them make selections about technology, to help them weigh in. And that's key. So now when the talent weighs in, they're going to use the technology you buy as well, right? They had kind of part of the process. That's also got a lot to do with why we build technology the way we have. Our tech, one of the things that we really focus on for the technology that we offer in every gambit is that we want to put technology back in the hands of those that really matter most, and that's the people in the service lane. We don't want you in 3 or 4 or 5 systems, right? It's got a lot to do with why we brought Tech to Drive and DealerLogix together. We didn't have to do that, but we knew that would take that many clicks away from a technician or an advisor or a service manager. So making things easy to use and easy to learn allows the service department to not have to battle that tech gap so hard. And I think that's what the better technologies in the market are finding, that if they go down that path, they kind of have a better shot to help dealers overcome the challenge of adoption.
And I understand that, if there's dealers that maybe the service director is not able to quite convince their general manager or their managing partner to go through with this, you have an offer that's going on right now that's exclusive for this time frame, though, that will help with some of that.
We do. Thank you, Sarah, for teeing that up too. So I'd say we are trying to help. Whether it's a dealer principal, a GM, a fixed ops leader over a regional, group in a large enterprise group, we're trying to help them understand that the reward outweighs the risk, but cost is cost, right? And profitability is top of mind and a focus for dealers. So instead, what we're currently offering now through NADA is an opportunity for a dealer to sign up for DealerLogix Service Suite Pro with 3 months free. So the only exception to that will be DMS fees that are transactional. Those are typically minimal and they're passed through, but they won't get any fees from us, which is stellar. And but by the time you get ROI, you haven't paid a dime, right? So we're putting our money where our mouth is, and we're doing some other things on top of that. But that's the promo of note, and dealers that see us at NADA. And even today, we're offering that as well. They'll get that offer.
Okay, that's very, very strong, Heward. Now, will you be in New Orleans later this week with the Velo team?
I will indeed. Excited to do it too.
All right. So if our viewers want to stop by and meet Heward Anderson and the Velo team, booth 835, it looks like in the ticker there.
835.
All right. So Sarah, a lot from Velo and great products out of this company, by the way, Sarah. They are fixed operations focused. This DealerLogix Service Suite Pro really brings together a marriage of some of the best features that dealers need and are utilizing today. You just heard the numbers from Heward and Sarah. This has got to help all aspects of dealer operations.
It does, Ted, and this really just helps our dealers be future ready.
Yep. All right. So everybody, if you want the best in the industry, visit with Velo. Ewart Anderson will be at NADA booth number 835. Now, Ewart, not all the viewers go to New Orleans. If they don't, what's the best way to reach out, and can they take advantage of this offer as well if they're not going?
Absolutely, they can. They can take advantage of that offer right now. We are actively signing up dealers today and giving them this opportunity. And we have been, since the beginning of the year. So super excited at the volume and engagement that we're getting today. And to answer your first question on how they can sign up, they can reach out to us using the information that we'll provide at the end of this recording, and we'd be glad to show them the product, help them understand how it can impact their business, and give them a great experience along the way.
All right, there we have it. Ewart Anderson, thank you for all you and your team at Velo do for our industry. Very grateful to you.
Awesome. And thanks to you, Ted, and to you, Sarah, as well, for having me.
All right, everybody. Ewart Anderson with Velo, the name behind some of the biggest names in our industry, Text to Drive, Dealer Logics, Rapid Recon, and more, here with us today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Hello, I'm Dennis Quaid. Advancements in technology have revolutionized the way we conduct business. Today, the quest for faster and more efficient mediums is leading to even greater technological advancements, as we're about to discover.
As the global economy continues to transition to a more service-based approach, shopping and buying priorities continue to evolve. Retailers, including automotive dealerships, are affected by this paradigm shift as customers are increasingly viewing time as their most valuable commodity.
When I go to the dealership, a lot of the times it takes forever to get things done.
When you take your car to the dealership, it's just the hassle and it's just the ugh.
I prefer only the dealership to work on my car, but the time risk makes that hard because it can literally take 2 to 3 hours just to get an oil change.
Automotive dealerships have struggled to make progress on the ranking scale of public trust. The perception persists as outdated and out of touch with the value of customer time. Fortunately, artificial intelligence, AI, is becoming a cornerstone of modernization for many businesses, and car dealerships are prime candidates. One type of AI, computer vision, is making huge strides by turning cameras from passive observers into proactive assistants. A primary dealership challenge is the number of moving process pieces involved in sales and service transactions. Advancements in computer vision understand the desired process and analyze camera footage at hyperspeeds to isolate delays and patterns, both good and bad.
We think that artificial intelligence is really going to help us improve the customer experience, and it's also going to help us deliver optimized business processes. It allows us to alert the right people at the right time, and with that type of technology, we can prevent problems before they happen. So for us, it's about making sure that if we identify an issue, we can solve that problem ahead of time before it goes off the rails with the customer journey and make sure that experience is what we expect it to be and also what we know the customer expects it to be.
Visual AI software providers are automating cumbersome process points with a smart space approach.
The real beauty of computer vision interacting with vehicles at a dealership and their traffic flow is it can be assistive without being intrusive. The fact is, car dealerships and their customers want the same thing: make it faster and easier to do business.
The AI system identifies process opportunities and bottlenecks, providing real-time alerts and data insights to employees.
This type of AI is really beneficial. It's actually saved us time. Rather than having to get up and go get information, the flick of a switch, we can get that information. So it's definitely wherever we can save time, I'm all for it.
By utilizing smart cameras and AI technology, processes like vehicle check-ins, appraisals, and cycle times can be streamlined, offering customers a better experience.
I think if they can tell me the value of my car, like on that day, right on the spot, definitely good information to know.
Do I want to know how much my car's worth? I mean, yes, absolutely. If I want to sell my car, I want that to be my choice, my process.
If I was to get a message
allowing me to know how much my car is worth at that moment, I think that'll be very convenient.
Service customers do typically want to know how much the dealership would want to pay for their vehicle if it was instant and no pressure. And that's where computer vision can automate the process and give the customer the way they want it. Instantly upon arrival, camera to mobile device, frictionless.
With AI as a trusted co-pilot, auto dealers are embarking on a journey of modernization. As businesses continue to find innovative ways to use artificial intelligence, customers will be able to expect more convenient, faster, and better service from retailers, including automotive dealerships.
We're glad you could join us today. I'm Dennis Quaid. See you next time.
Rev your engines for our next speaker, Mike King from RevolutionParts.
Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Ed Roberts here at Bozard Ford Lincoln with Ted Ings. And Ted, we're here with Mike King, and I believe 2025 is the year of the parts department.
It really is. And Ed, thank you for allowing us in and to meet your people and see the culture and all the things that you have at work at Bozard. And Mike, this has been some experience the last couple of days.
Oh, it's been amazing. The facility, the people, the processes. I mean, it's when they say all systems go, it's truly all systems go. It's quite an operation.
So let's talk about all systems go and 2025, like Ed said, the year of the parts department. Parts hasn't gotten a lot of love over the years. You could see that changing rapidly thanks to a lot of the good work that you and Revolution Parts are doing. Why is 2025 the year of the parts department?
Well, I think more than ever now, dealerships are leaning on the parts room to contribute even a larger share of the fixed costs of the operation. So bringing in another revenue stream to help the parts room bring that gross up and help the dealer operations just that much more it's important that we run a clean operation and that we contribute.
And Ed, this kind of plays into your wheelhouse at Bozard with a wider market reach, which you get with the remote services now expanding the reach of Bozard. You're all over Florida and the southern U.S., but really things like e-commerce will help on the parts side do the same thing.
Well, it's time that we focus on the parts department. A lot of times when things change, when sales declines or margins compress, we look at fixed ops. Well, we don't really look at fixed ops, we look at service, because we don't necessarily focus on parts and because we feel like it's along for the ride. But there's so much opportunity in parts. You got the DIYs out there that wants to have the opportunity to be able to put factory parts on, and we need to have that opportunity available to them and available at their fingertips.
You know, Mike, one of the things that I really like about Revolution Parts is that you use existing successful platforms like Amazon and eBay, where you already have a lot of customers worldwide on there. Speak to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, every dealer's website has its own individual successes based on their commitment to content and whatnot. But, you can take parts from your own inventory and move them over to eBay and have 100 million people looking at your listing. And it's a great way to control idle inventory, move it off the shelf and onto the platforms where there's definitely somebody looking for it. You just have to let them find you.
And a lot of dealers, talk about obsolescent inventory, and, e-commerce is a great potential solution for them.
Every year, we're all trying to get rid of idle inventory or inventory that we feel like doesn't have any value, but it has value somewhere. It may just not have the value in our local market, and that's where e-commerce really comes in and expands our market to find that value. And rather than have to dispose of it or give it away at a very discounted price, we can still sell it and make good gross on it.
Without a doubt.
So, Mike, talk to us about scaling, okay? Because that's one of the issues here, okay? To be able to scale what you do in parts, and again, that wider reach and how Revolution Parts helps with things like that.
Well, scaling the parts room is really, you only have a couple of options. You've got your service lane, which granted you work hand in hand with the service manager to try to create great values, promotions, things like that. But you you only have so much influence over how many cars come through the service lane. Wholesale is it's a geographic thing. You can only go so far before it doesn't become profitable to sell a part anymore. But with e-com, the world literally is at your fingertips. You can sell a part to anybody, anywhere. And with wholesale, I love wholesale. I came from a wholesale background, but realistically, growing wholesale, you're increasing inventory, you're increasing staff, you're increasing expense, you're increasing receivables. Whereas with e-com, it's exactly the opposite. You're getting paid for the part up front. You don't necessarily have to stock it. You could sell it out of your local PDC. You get paid to deliver it because shipping is absolutely a profit center. And then you can piggyback on top of an existing infrastructure. So it's like creating a business inside of a business that you're already paying the heat, the lights, the taxes, the insurance.
You know, Ed, wholesale does come with some risk. A lot of dealers are in the wholesale business, but e-commerce is a little bit different in getting paid right up front and as you go.
A lot of times wholesale is bragging rights. It's I'm the big player on the street, and so we do it for minimal margin. And then you question yourself, why did I put myself through all this headache? And the reality is when we could reach out to other levels or broaden our reach with the web, then it's not bragging rights. It's providing a service to our customers.
And the other side of it too, wholesale is great. The return rate is, if you can keep a body shop under 10%, you're dancing in the street. Whereas with e-com, it runs usually around 3 to 5%, depending on how true your staff is to accuracy.
And with the way you help dealers set up the e-commerce platform, I mentioned earlier, eBay and Amazon, customers are able to pay by credit card, okay? And they're used to doing that.
We have all the payment gateways, credit cards, PayPal. We just brought on board Apple Pay. We're making it very easy for customers to transact any way that they want to.
Talk about shipping also, because that's one of the areas that you really excel in, okay? You help dealers on the shipping side. Speak to us about that if you okay.
Shipping's my favorite part of e-com. I look at e-com in two fashions. You sell parts, you sell shipping. They both should generate profit. They both should kind of stand on their own merits. And, running the operations that I've run, we've actually found that shipping is the profit center. The parts profit will pay for your overhead, your staff, your SaaS fees, and shipping is what you put in the bank.
Oh. Ed, any thoughts? You've got an amazing parts operation here, Ed, but there's so much more. I know you're going nothing but up in 2025, and this could be a big part of that.
Where all systems go, and this is an opportunity for us. And I learn from these things as well. And yes, it can get competitive on the price, but once you land on the price, the shipping is the element that sounds like there's the opportunity, and that's something that most of us out in the audience haven't thought about. We haven't thought about that's another revenue stream, but truly it is.
It is truly a revenue stream, and a big one.
Mike, talk to us about repeat business, because one of the things that I've learned from Ed and the team here at Bozard is that when they send out one of these mobile vehicles to a customer, not only is the customer satisfaction so much higher, but that customer comes back and they're back again and again. How is that on e-commerce as well once you get a customer?
Oh, e-commerce is no different. You have to treat the customer as if they're standing in front of you buying, a very expensive car. You have to give them the VIP experience every single time. Interactions are critical. Performance, obviously, price is comes into play. But the reality is, if you give somebody a great customer experience online, you can be 2, 3, 4 points higher than your competition. They're still going to come back and buy because they know who you are. They know they can trust you to perform, and they'll return for years. So I've got customers that I established 15 years ago that I stole gear from.
Well, a customer's still a customer, whether we're selling them a $2 part or selling them a $140,000 auto bill. He's still a customer.
Absolutely.
And we have to treat him as such. A lot of times we classify him, and that's a very slippery slope to do that.
Yeah, and that's part of the education process that we help the dealers with, is help bring in parts people, especially people that have been in the business a long time, bringing them up to speed on customer service, on the customer experience, and thinking about that first and worrying about the profitability second, because that's how it has to be.
Mike, being in the retail automotive industry, the industry is always changing, all right? Ed likes to say we're always under construction, but we've got to be able to adapt to things such as price changes, market changes. How does having an e-commerce platform, work into that platform for the dealer?
Well, the platform, it reports back pretty much anything you can think of as far as repeat customers, your areas of responsibility, what states are driving the largest sales. And so now you can take that and you can just start analyzing that data and saying, all right, I'm not as competitive as I probably should be in Florida. So maybe I should look at the cost of shipping or the cost of the part itself and adapt to that market. And you can do it right down, to the state level and of course around the world. So it has tons of flexibility to allow a dealer to adapt to the changing market.
Ed, it sounds like all systems go in 2025.
It's all systems go. There's been a lot of noise in the industry that it's time to focus on fixed ops, and let's make it truly fixed ops. We're focused on parts and service.
Mike King from Revolution Parts, 2025 is the year of the parts department. So grateful to have you with us here today at Bozard Ford Lincoln. Congratulations to you and the team on all the success you're having.
Thank you.
Ed, the same to you at Bozard, and I can't wait to see what this next year brings.
All systems go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody, I'm Ted Ings. I'm here with Ed Roberts, Mike King from Revolution Parts. We're at Bozard Ford Lincoln, and we are going to be right back.
"2025 is the year of the parts department, and we are excited to highlight some of the best in automotive. Join us live in New Orleans at the NADA Expo, where Revolution Parts is proud to host the prestigious Online Parts Excellence Awards, honoring the nation's top online parts sellers. This ceremony will be taking place Friday, January 24th at NADA, and will be hosted by me, Sarah Vantine of the Fixed Ops Roundtable. During the event, we will unveil the winners in several categories, including top overall sales, top eBay sales, top Amazon sales, Parts Excellence Award, Rookie of the Year, Influencer of the Year, and the top sales in each brand category. Be sure to join us at booth 7451 to help us celebrate the excellence in the parts industry. See you all there.
Take a moment now to pull out your phones to scan the QR code on your screen to vote for the Sean Butler Best Practice Awards that will be announced at the end of the event. Remember, every vote counts, so make sure to make room in your van for the 5 speakers or panelists to join your road trip by casting your vote. And remember, you can only vote once.
3, 2,
Bozard Built initiated and working full force. Bozard Built is a go.
DocuPad digital transaction systems online. DocuPad is a go.
ABN network information displays refined and active. Internal messaging is a go.
Mobile van fleet expansion secured. Software advancements underway. Remote service team engaged. 21,537 remote ROs closed. Remote operations are a go.
Video multi-point inspection technology sustained. Video MPI is a go.
Microsoft and Azure conversion complete. IT devices activated and safety assured. Systems and IT are a go.
280 merch orders received. Employee swag is a go.
Customer satisfaction rating soaring. CSI excellence is a go.
Over 16 EV chargers installed, grounds maintained, new storage room activated, facilities is a go.
33,555 warranty tickets closed. Warranty processing is a go.
4,925 government and fleet vehicles sold. Government and fleet sales is a go.
106,064 main shop ROs closed. Main shop operations are a go.
Parts delivered to Ford Shop, Lincoln Shop, Quick Lane, Accessories Department, and the Remote Operations Center. Countless of parts delivered and installed. Over $1.5 million in parts inventory. Parts department is a go.
Convenience delivered. 2,110 pickups. 1,956 deliveries. Totaling 4,066 seamless service experiences. Pickup and delivery is a go. 187 employees onboarded seamlessly. Employee experience is a go.
More than 2,800 pre-owned vehicles delivered with precision. Used vehicle department is a go.
More than 800 new Lincolns sold. Exceptional experiences delivered. Lincoln sales is a go.
22,197 quick lane repair orders completed. Quick lane is a go.
9,587 vehicles detailed and looking good. Detail and pre-delivery are a go.
Transactions completed. Over 7,524 retail deals posted and thousands of checks issued. Accounting department verified. Accounting is a go.
167,252 calls. Received by the communications center. Customer engagement is a go.
More than 3,100 new Fords sold. Sales milestones achieved. Ford sales is a go.
Bozard's 2024 priorities accomplished. The best team on the planet confirmed. All departments are operating and stable. Bozard Ford Lincoln crew readiness confirmed. 2025 preparedness checked and verified. Bozard Ford Lincoln is
3, 2, 1, go.
All systems go.